King Emeka, for that. Thank you for sticking to your time. We're going to go straight to the next person we have here, which is Mr. Son of God. Mr. Son of God, please, you have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Hello, thank you once again, Kachi. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Now, I'm just going to touch on something very quickly. I don't want this to look as if it's a back and forth. When people say that the people that say the constitution is a fraud, when they make those statements, they make it, and the last time this was discussed, people gave a lot of examples of constitutional scholars, people who are very vast in this area, very well respected people in Nigeria, who also agree with the fact that the constitution was not, it's actually the way it was drawn up. It wasn't drawn up. It was just a document that people just made up in their backyard. Constitution is meant to represent the interests of every single ethnic group in the country, all the individuals. But the constitution that we have does not actually do that. So that when people say it's a fraud, that is how they are looking at it, because it's not actually a document that was drawn up in the right form. So people are using that the way they're framing that, using that term, that is a fraud. They're using it in because it doesn't represent the express wishes of every sector or every area of Nigeria, and that's why they're calling it a fraud. So when people say it's a fraud, they have their reasons for saying that. It's not a document that was drawn up by every single element in the country, and that's why it is called a fraud. So when please understand the context that people are using. They're not just making that statement. They're not picking out a word from the sky and saying it. They're saying it based on the context, the way the constitution was drawn up. So let me leave that issue anyway. Now, I think what we're just to surmise, I think the long and short of it is that it's quite obvious all this noise that is going on about raising money from all that and all this. It's just unfortunate that the APC and whoever people are saying this are all a bunch of hypocrites. I mean, that's what it is. And just like the guy from Labour Party that talked, right now P2B has not raised 1 penny. Labour Party has not raised 1 penny from diaspora. So I don't even know what the noise is about. It's all nonsense, okay? If people want to get their money to Nigeria, people who live in diaspora or who live abroad, they've been sending money to Nigeria for tens of years, okay? And they will keep sending money to Nigeria. You cannot ask somebody living abroad. If they want to send money to P2B, they don't have to send it to him directly. People in Nigeria they've been sending money to for years. They can use those same people they've been sending money to for years to get money to P2B if they want to. So all this noise is just a distraction, really. So I don't think we should continue to waste our time on it. But just like somebody was saying, eventually we're going to move off from, first it was the guy has no structure. Then 1 minute is something else. Then now it's about fund. Next week the news cycle is going to move to something else. They have to find a way to keep P2B in the news, and that's a shame, really. It's unfortunate that is what people are wasting their time on. So these parties are APC and other people that are talking about getting him disqualified. They should spend their time on actually telling Nigerians why, after 8 years of disaster, why Nigerians should actually give them a second chance. That's what they should spend their time doing. Tell us why, after 8 years of failing, Nigerians should once again vote APC back to come and cure the problems that are created by APC. Thank you. I'll stop here.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Son of God, and thank you for keeping to your time. I have a quick question for Mr. Emeka. Mr. Emeka, please, are you there, please? I'd like to know the origin of the 1999 Constitution, please, Mr. Emeka.
Yes, there was a constitution committee that was set up by the military government to draft that constitution. When people say ethnic, it favors, the constitution does not favor any ethnic group. I'll tell you what the constitution is all about. The constitution states, there are specific section in the constitution that states what the constitution is all about. It talks about marriage. It talks about people in Nigeria. How can you be a citizen in Nigeria? It talks about the government, from the president down to the courts, the Supreme Court. It talks about the Sharia court law, because the Sharia now, for those who who want Sharia law in their state. It talks about how you can get Sharia law and what you need to do in Sharia law. It talks about the amendment of the constitution and how you can amend the constitution. It doesn't talk about ethnic whatever. It doesn't favor any ethnic group. It has nothing to do with any ethnic group. It also talks about on electoral process, like the section 225 that we just talked. It talks about that. It talks about how can a president become, how can an individual become a president. It talks about that. It talks about the Senate and the powers, and those. It also talks about specific ministries or specific section or parastatals within the country that can function. So those parastatals or ministries derive their power from the constitution. Example, INEC. So when people come, when you open your mouth to say this, you have not read it. The people saying it's fraud, those are people who have interest. Either they were not, they didn't partake in drafting that constitution. And that constitution, the 1999 constitution as amended in 2023, was derived from the 1978 constitution. So it came from that constitution, and they looked at it and said, okay, this constitution that has existed within this period, but because of the military regime, let's bring back this constitution. And yet we are making this kind of thing. Please, for the love of God,
Okay.
I hope Mr. Andrew would also speak in light in this. Please, let's not get confused. Go and get it. It's simple. Just type Nigerian constitution and read it. Just
All
read
right,
it.
thank you. I had to ask you that question because people are asking on the comments. Thank you very much, King Emeka, for your explanation, and I hope those who are asking me about that understands from Mr. Emeka's point of view. Thank you very much. I'm going to go straight to Mr. Theobala. Mr. Theobala, please, you have the floor for 3 minutes.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your good work. First of all, when they talk about this Islamization, people are taking it in a different context. Thank God, I so much like the view. I don't know this guy on W. I don't know the full name. He says so many things
Mr. Walter.
that people don't even understand. There are so many things happening in Nigeria right now, where the key position in the country are held by one part of the religion. We are saying that they are not Islamizing the country until they plant Muslim in your father's house before you know they Islamize the country. What? At least I have a friend who work at Tinker Island. Before now, it was somebody that automatically when Buhari came in, they bring in a northern person to come and spearhead that organization. Who is the head of army? Who is the head of all the parastatals in Nigeria? You are saying constitution this and that. We talk about constitution being a fraud. I don't know about that, but there are so many areas of this constitution that do not represent the will of the people of Nigeria. So when we talk about what is happening in the country, there are so many evidence that represent that Islamization is real. In short, when I talk about Islamization, it does not mean they will not change Nigeria country to be a Muslim country. I have a friend, we graduated together. Because the name is bear, as soon as he gets to that office, the job was offered. What happened to those people that come from the certain part of the country? Once you bear a particular name, there is a part of an organization you will go now. Once you bear a particular name, they will give you the job. What happened to a country we call Nigeria? Then you say Nigeria is not being Islamized. They are killing people in the church every day, say Nigeria is not being Islamized. See, whether we like it or not, these are systemic process. What happened here in the United States years back? See, we have to be very careful whenever we are making a statement because we know we have read everything, we know book, we know everything. See, everything is systemic. When Twitter developed one app for face detection, what happened? It was not detecting black. Why? Because of the data they collected. The people were angry about it. They have to work on it. These Amazon and Alexa are talking about them. When they design Amazon and Alexa, if all those black accent, all those maybe other accent, it was not recognizing it. Why? Because of the data they collected. We have to be very sensitive anything we are doing right now. They have to go back and start collecting data from other part of the... What am I trying to say in the sense is that they will not come and be planting or just say, okay, Nigeria is not a Muslim country. But by virtue of the position that is in place, go and check all the position in Nigeria right now. Who is heading them? So when talking about this Islamization and all that, it's not that they will just come physically and Islamize Nigeria or Islamize the country. It's very vital we know this. I know you people know book. I know you people know the constitution. We don't know anything, but the truth of the matter is that give us a constitution that represents the will of the people of Nigeria. It's as simple as ABCD. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Theobala, for that amazing, submission you just gave. I actually like the last line that you just said. Give us a constitution that represents the will of the people. a constitution that the common man out there can relate to and understand. A constitution that, I really like the last statement that you just made there. Thank you very much, Mr. Theobala, for that right there. We're all here to learn. We come here every day to learn because I mean nobody knows it all. That is why we have our panel, we have people in the comments, and we have viewers and we have callers. Thank you guys for always educating us. I personally learn a lot from you guys every single day. Thank you guys so much for always doing this. Thank you. I appreciate every single one of you. I'm going to go straight to the next person I have here, which is Mr. Two Ninja. Mr. Two Ninja, please, you have the floor for 3 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I think the speaker that was talking about constitutional this thing may have a point, because I think this idea where Nigerians keep talking about constitution as if constitution is the reason why Nigeria is not doing well is again missing the point. We keep talking about constitution. UK doesn't even have a written constitution, and they colonize and man, people, I don't understand how we do this. I really don't. I try, because some people say maybe my critical thinking is different, and maybe that's why. Because I don't understand how you can see a problem and you go in a different direction. I think that's going to solve anything. It will not. How is a paper going to help you build a good country? How is that going to make you happy? No matter how much we write that paper, there's people that are not going to be happy. There is always going to be bordering areas people are not happy about. You have to get on with life, because that constitution is not preventing the bandits from kidnapping people. Women, children, the parents wailing in schools when they send their children to school and the children disappear. The constitution is not going to solve that one for you. We should be getting our act together and trying to free our country from all the mess we have been going through for how many decades, not to mention centuries of this pathetic living that we have been living under. We have become so accustomed to this type of discussion where we don't say the right things. We pretend as if the things are not happening and reality didn't happen. History didn't happen. Let's pretend history didn't happen, because this history stopped in 1960. It didn't. It's still happening, and we are right in the middle of it. And if we don't start confronting our true problems and pretend constitution is the problem, or the Fulani man is coming to Islamize all of us and all the rest of it, it is not. Is a part of the stuff I said earlier on. One of the vehicles that they're going to use to do it is separatist movements. They are doing it in Ethiopia right now. They're already beginning to do it in Nigeria. I've told you people before that even in in Mali, that's why the Mali government kicked that military took over and kicked the French out. They were telling them not to go to some part of the country. They were partitioning their country. How do you think they took over our country, our lands before? They got us to be fighting each other and took over everything. And now they are basically in charge. Let's face it, if we pretend as if that's not the truth, when our leaders run to London to go and have a meeting to resolve their disputes, how do you think that's happening? Is our country not big enough? When every time they go and Autumn goes and makes his case to Washington and to London, is it by accident? When our leaders, and somebody earlier on said the Security Council is going to save us. Hell, Security Council is going to save you. This world, only us and God can negotiate our way into this world. Nobody, no other group of people will save you other than yourselves. And we don't need anybody. We don't need them. We don't need anybody to save us. We are the one that should save ourselves, because they saved themselves too. They didn't come and beg us to save them. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tunanja, for your wonderful submission right there. Thank you so much. I've learned a lot from you guys today. Thank you all. I really do appreciate. I want to say thank you again to Mr. Alexander Gomez for your continuous support to Niger Watch. Mr. Alexander, God bless you. Thank you so much for all you do. God bless you. We do not take your love and support for granted. God bless you. I'm going to go straight to Mr. Andrew. Mr. Andrew, please, you have the floor for the next 3 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Kachi. Kachi, please just pause me once it's 3 minutes, because I won't be conscious of the time deliberately.
No
So just
problem.
pause me when
I
it's
wouldn't
three
pause you,
minutes.
but I'll let you know when your time
Okay.
is up.
Uh I think the last speaker, or second to the last speaker, did made a point that uh, the issue of me being dishonest. I'm not talking about me. He spoke generally. The issue of children, the kidnapping, if it's a constitutional definitely, this is one of the points I keep saying, that my dishonesty towards you, the Constitution is not responsible for it. My giving bribe, the Constitution is not responsible for it. My not being a good citizen, the Constitution is not responsible for it. This is a personal decision and discipline every one of us will have to make. Now, nobody disagree that this it is the military that wrote this, but it was adapted from previous constitution. Now, Mr. Tiobala, you have your time to answer the question. You said you may mention what is the will of the people. You have to tell us exactly what you meant. What is actually the will of the people that the constitution did not represent? So, having knowledge of the constitution is important. But like I said in my listing, that the citizens have responsibility, and not until we come up to that point to start behaving rightly, to start to say no to some certain things that are not correct, that is not the problem of the Constitution. Please. Now, why I said it is important for us to read the Constitution, be familiar with it, is that so that when you come on the floor of an act to present an argument, I may ask you a question now. So tell me which section of the Constitution that you have issues with, so that we can look at it. But if you've not read it, how would you be able to say, I come out and tell you this is a fraud, and I ask you, okay, could you kindly point me to the section, subsection of it that you think is a fraud? Then you should be able to tell me that. Now, when you use the word fraud, it's a very big word, because a document that was used in a court of law, if it's found out to be fraud, that case itself, if it's won, that means that case can be declared null and void. You can go and watch Suits, and it will tell you when a lawyer pretended to be a lawyer, was not a lawyer, and people find out that I was not a lawyer, the law firm started panicking, because every case he has argued and they won will be revisited, and they will have to contact the other party and maybe awarded to the other party. So when you say a document is a fraud, equally you are saying that Peter Obi and his lawyers are fraudulent people, because Peter Obi stated on record he went to the Supreme Court to seek interpretation of the Constitution when he was impeached, meaning that he clearly knows that the Constitution is a fraud. His lawyers, who are senior advocates of Nigeria, knows that the Constitution is a fraud, and they went to court with it to argue with it. That means his governorship time is illegitimate. Is that what we are claiming? I really, that's what I don't understand. So when you come on the floor of debate and you say something is wrong, you need to be specific as to what it is that it is wrong, so that we can look at it. That is the point I am trying to make. Just don't say an entire book is wrong. If something is wrong there, highlight it. Then we look at it. Then we discuss it. Then we know how to go about it. It's called review. Because if we remove the things from what you said it is wrong, somebody should tell me what is in there that should not be there, and what is not there that should be there. Since you said the book itself is our problem, it is not our problem. If I'm dishonest to you, it's because I choose to be dishonest. It's in the book that I should not give bribe, but I choose to give bribe. Now, we know it's the situation of the country that has resulted in us giving bribe. The police are not getting paid, this and that, but it's still no excuse. If you come on an argument and you want to argue it, your argument you must be able to state specifically where you think this thing is wrong. Those of you in diaspora, when you get issues, this is one thing that actually annoys me, because those of us in diaspora, when we are dealing with government officials or any department or anything, and they write us a letter, we ask for clarification. We ask, oh, this is not right, this is not this is not that. You don't just, they don't just throw things at you, they point you to specific place where you went wrong. So when you come as a diaspora to a place like this, where you say you've gained light and understanding and knowledge, you should be able to apply the same principle. I am asking people on this platform now that please, I need you to point me specifically where in the constitution where fraud that makes it a fraudulent thing, so that we can look at it and read it and even go and ask for interpretation of it, because that is what they will use, whether you like it or not. They will throw the book at P2B if it goes wrong. Take it or leave it. That means all the effort is going to be what? In vain. So we shouldn't dance around. But it is. Lastly, I'm sorry for this. Lastly, I apologize. I shouldn't go beyond my time. Lastly, when diasporas arrive in Nigeria, when we are in the airport on the other side, we queue respectfully to board the plane. But the moment we arrive in Nigeria, we become something else. Is the constitution responsible for that? I yield the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Andrew. Thank you. Thank you so much. Mr. Andrew just threw a question to everyone who thinks the Constitution is a fraud. So, guys, please point us to where you want us to look at. Thank you very much. I want to say thank you to Mr. Amechi Kilby for the super chat right there, and also to Mr. Alexander Gomez. Again, you have done it again for us today. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Amechi. Thank you, Mr. Alexander, for your continuous support. We really do appreciate every single one of you. God bless you all. I'm going to go straight to the next person I have here, which is Omoye's Corner. Omoye's Corner, please, you have the floor for the next 3 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. I wanted to say something. No problem. Continue.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, Mr. Theobala, go ahead.
There are, like, I don't know, like in my own case, I never said Nigeria Constitution is a fraud, but there are so many aspects of Nigeria Constitution that is not right. So when we are discussing constitutional matter, then give us a date. We'll come back. You put it. Everybody will now come with his own points. For instance, Nigeria citizens, that they ban Nigeria citizens for participating, for voting. You call that one a constitution? It's not Nigeria Constitution that does that.
What did you say, Mr. Theobala?
Where is it in the constitution? Yo, could you be specific where it is?
They are not allowed to participate in an election. Is that not a constitution? But the money
Nigerians in the diaspora are not allowed to vote. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Is that not a constitution? There are so many of them. Even one lawyer came out on a rise, pointed out about 5 different sessions. That does not represent the will of the people. Whether we like it or not, their constitution, we need to come together and rewrite.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Theobala. We have a caller here. Omoye's Corner, please be patient. We have a caller here. Good evening to you. Thank you for calling Ninja Watch.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Chris and I'm calling from Dublin. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, sir. Please, you have just 1 minute to make your submission. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. I've been listening to the program and it does this back and forth about the constitution being fraudulent or not. You know, I think in my opinion, yeah, I understand that Mr. Andrew speaks very eloquently, but there are so many things wrong with the constitution. Right from the beginning, the first fault with that constitution, the opening sentence stated that we, the people of Nigeria, there was never a time that we, the people of Nigeria, constitution to get some victory. It doesn't seem mean because there's nothing wrong with the constitution. Because if you remember the Nazi German, you have like 51% of the people supporting Adolf Hitler, but 49% of the people were against that constitution. That's the same constitution that Adolf Hitler operated from. So for the fact that Peter Obi is able to use it to, because I think this is the second time I'm hearing that from Mr. Andrew. He made this remark some days ago and today he's saying it again. For the fact that you get some pockets of judgment for the constitution, it doesn't mean that everything is okay with the constitution. So if you are looking for every part of the constitution that is fraudulent, the very opening sentence is a fraud. There was never a time that we, the people of Nigeria, sat down to design that constitution. You tell me a constitution that allows people from the north, children from the north, to score as little as 3, 4, 5, or 20 to get admission. And the child from Imo State, Anambra State, Edo State, they have to score up to 83% in the same exam, sometimes 50%. I don't think that's it, bro. Those are the things I suffered while I was in Nigeria. And shamefully, my nieces and my nephews, they are suffering the same thing again because of the quota system, everything that is engraved in the constitution. So we don't need to look for what's wrong with the constitution. The very first fraudulent there is the opening sentence. We said that we, the people of Nigeria, because there was never a time that we, the people of Nigeria, sat down to design that constitution. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chris from Dublin. For that clarification right there. Thank you so much, sir, for calling. I also want to say thank you to Mr. Pansat HD. Thank you so much for supporting us again. You're always here. In fact, you don't turn family for here. Thank you, Mr. Pansat, for your continuous love and support. We appreciate you here. What do I want to say about this thing?
Can I just, in
it's
10
urgent,
seconds,
Madam
right,
Kachi.
just clarify this with the people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Yes, the Constitution was drafted during the military rule. There was a Constitution Committee that drafted it, and it was upheld
Mr.
by the
Emeka,
House
please,
of
can you be quick?
Representatives.
Can you be quick?
Yeah,
Can you be
I'm almost done. It was upheld by the House of Representatives. The House of Representatives, we are the ones who sent them to represent us. And if the House of Representatives has upheld our Constitution and as well as made some amendments and putting it in place and say, this is our Constitution, this is what we will follow, it represents our Constitution. And we, the people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, have said, this is our Constitution. Our representative there in Abuja, who are representing us from the various local government and the various senatorial districts in the country, have upheld that Constitution and said there's nothing wrong with it. So nobody can come here to say that Constitution is fraudulent, and that represents us, we the people. Even in the American Constitution, not everyone in America wrote that Constitution. Just a few people.
Kachi, a constitution
Thank you.
that Kachi,
Mr. Emeka, but you can't exactly say nobody can come here and say X, Y, Z.
Nobody
right?
can say it's fraudulent.
No,
They said, Mr. Andrew has said, show me where it's fraudulent. Somebody said, we the people. So do we want 200 people to sit down and write a constitution when we already have representatives?
Thank you.
Kachi, do you know what happened? Do you know what happened recently? Even it should be some years back now. Do you know all those governors, they don't have immunity before? Because they want to start committing all their crime. They now institute that went to the constitution that we now have governors, senators, many of, especially governors, having immunity.
That has always been in the constitution. That has always been in the constitution.
It has not been there. It has never been there.
Stop lying. It has been
not
in
a lie.
the
It has never been there. It has never been there. Currently, even if it has been there, the governor of New York City, when he committed a crime just now, or whatever, I can't call it a crime, don't know what happened. They removed him from office. It's only Nigeria governor, all of them will commit a crime because they have immunity. They will not do it. They will leave them. You call that a constitution?
In Tiobala, they actually removed the governor from office in Bayelsa.
Okay, thank you guys. Please, I don't even have time to shout at anybody today. If I mute you and you mute yourself, please, I'm just going to take you out. Mr. Emeka, I just took you out and I brought you back. Please, if I mute you, I gave you time to speak again after you have already spoken. Please, if I mute you because you're trying to argue and you're calling somebody, telling somebody stop lying, stop lying. If I mute you and you unmute yourself, please, I'll just take you backstage. Jeje. I don't even have strength to even shout at anybody today. Please, let's be guided. We cannot be doing this every single time. We cannot be talking about the same thing every single time. We come here to talk. You say you want to speak. I gave you time to speak. And Tiobala was making his point and you're still interjecting. Please. I beg, let's be guided. Let's know what we are doing here. And I beg, una. I just go beg you. Thank you all so much. I'm going to go straight to Omoye's corner, please. Somebody was asking for the number to call. Please, the number is just right there on the screen. You can call, just WhatsApp call only, please. The number is just right there on the screen. Please call that number and I'll be here to pick your call. Thank you very much. Mr. Andrew pointed out, what part of the Constitution do you think is fraudulent? So we can, look at what we are actually talking about, okay? Some people actually think everything about the Constitution is fraudulent, while some say, if you think this is fraudulent, point to that part where you think it's fraudulent. It's simple. Thank you. Omoye's corner, please, you have the floor for the next 3 minutes. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Kachi. Thank you, everyone. So I'm just going to go straight in. I've listened to everybody talking about the Constitution, fraudulent or no fraudulent. Here's my own opinion, please. It doesn't have to do with anybody's opinion. If we feel like there's a problem with the Constitution, which is, I think, in every part of the world, people have felt a certain way about it. Whether you feel that it's been prejudice to you in any way, this is the reason why we have amendments. You come to the floor, right? Even though, to the comment that I think Emeka made about the representatives were the ones that they were there when they made the Constitution. That in itself is a problem, because we know that most of those people put those things there for their own selfish intentions. Maybe true, maybe not. However, there's room for improvement on the Constitution. Let's not assume that that Constitution is what is going to lead our lives forever. No. And it is good that we're having this argument, whether we choose a side or not. Because if we really, really are thinking about moving our society forward, these types of arguments are necessary so that we can have a sane society. We do need amendments in the Constitution. That is a fact. It is not cast in stones. Now, human being right time, we can go back and amend it and add to it. That's why we have amendments. So that's what I'm going to say about the Constitution, whether it is fraudulent or not fraudulent. If there are issues, we bring amendments into it and we fix whatever we think the issues are. I have a problem with it because I don't see the women and the children being protected. That's my own biggest pet peeve, because women currently and children in Nigeria, as we speak, are suffering greatly. Women literally have no voice. Somebody is married to someone who's not a Nigerian, goes and wants to try and get a passport for her spouse. She can't, because she's a woman. That's a problem. But if a Nigerian man marries an outsider, they can go to a passport office and get passports, no shaking. So there is a problem right there that we can amend and say, okay, we did not have rules for women and children. We did not have protections for them, because I will not support a constitution that allows young children to be married off. I'm not going to support it. I definitely would not be there for them to sign that into law. It's not going to happen. So that's what I'm going to say about the Constitution. Now, coming back to Peter Obi getting funds or no funds, I say, let us try to use wisdom. Mr. Omori made some brilliant comments on it yesterday. And I will urge us, if you have the time, play it to where Mr. Omori was speaking specifically. I think it was wisdom all by itself. Let's use wisdom. The fact that these people are coming and trying to upstage and find ways, nook and crannies and all. I know that Peter Obi has it. The man is a smart man. He's very wise. He knows what he's doing. He's not going to intentionally put himself, in front of these people to just do whatever they would choose. So let us also apply wisdom, even though we know that when it's their turn, they throw it into, because we have to remember that the fight that we're fighting and the fact that we're getting the victory is not because of ourselves. There's something bigger than us, which is a movement that is behind it. So let's try. I know we can't always get it right. Let's try. It is Peter Obi. Please get ready, guys. It's going to get hotter. There'll be people who will come here and come to distract and persuade you in any way. Remain erudite. Stand strong. No shaking. Iroko tree. Obidati all the way. I yield.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Omoye's Corner, for pointing that out. For those of you asking what part of the Constitution, Mr. Andrew, you're asking what part of the Constitution is fraudulent. I believe the panels are pointing it out one after the other. Please, I believe you guys are listening. Thank you very much. We have a caller here, Mr. Jude. Good evening to you. Thank you for calling. Please, you have just 1 minute, please. 1 minute. Thank you.
Hello, good evening. Yes, I'm calling from California. Yes, I feel so sad that this set of guys continue to come out here on this platform, on a public platform, to continue to propagate these lies. And Nigeria Constitution, for those that want to hear again, is not only fraudulent but dubiously crafted. This constitution was crafted by a handful of people picked up by, assembled by Abdul Salami. And when Obasanjo was to be sworn in, Obasanjo was sworn in without this constitution. Without the constitution, nobody has even read it. And there was no House of Representatives nor Senate to verify the constitution. They haven't even read it. How can a constitution that is supposed to be for a country be crafted and then be sworn, a president will be sworn in? Number one, the president, the democratically elected president, have not even read it. And then the Senate and the House have not even read it, not even once, not even twice, nothing was done whatsoever. And then this
Mr. Jude, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I can. Can you please point out one part of the Constitution that you feel is fraudulent?
One part of the Constitution that is wrong. Okay, let me tell you. Every state, the governors are supposed to be in charge, are supposed to be commander-in-chief, or supposed to be in charge for protection of life and properties, right? But no state, no governor in any Nigerian state has the power to actually control like policing or take care or handle their securities in Nigeria, because every authority was arrogated to the president at the center. That make it difficult for governors to protect their various states.
Okay.
That is one fault of the Constitution. And not only that, the very foundation of the Constitution is wrong.
Thank you.
Say we the people, when only handful, about 50 people selected, dubiously selected.
Thank you.
Salami.
Thank you.
Sit down and then you now say we the people.
Thank you, Mr. Jude.
We the people.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Jude. I'm so sorry, guys. We have a lot of calls. We have another caller here, please. Please introduce yourself, where you're calling from, and you have 1 minute. I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay, yeah, my name is Patriotic Niger. I actually just commented to ask for your number. So I actually want to talk about this issue of constitution.
Please, you have just 1 minute. Thank you. Please go ahead. We can hear you.
Get to the arguments about the constitution. We should actually try to understand why there is a need for a constitution. You know, as I pointed out in the comment section, Nigeria is an heterogeneous group of people, and that's why the initial vision of Nigeria was to be a federation of different people who are actually, different in their culture, different in their stance. And it is based on the way Nigeria, that was the Nigeria that we agreed to get into. Not the Nigeria the way it is today. And that is why people keep going back to the issue of restructuring decided this is the way we want it. Before that constitution, there were several constitutions, even in the colonial era, that were drafted to birth this federation that is Nigeria today. But those didn't work, and that's why the people decided to have the constitution of 1961 or I think 1959. Okay, now let's look at the 1999 constitution. Someone was trying to say, let's point out where it's a fraud.
Yes, please point it out.
It's not just a fraud. Yeah, it's not just a fraud, it's a contradiction. Now, if you look at, because I have it up here, it says here, just give me a minute, let me point out this section. I'm not a lawyer. It's in part 2, section, I think number 5. If you go down, it says that the state shall not have an official religion. Let me read it the way it said. The government of the federation of a state shall not adopt any religion as state religion. But then, if you look elsewhere, it actually makes provisions for the creation of Sharia courts. Sharia is not a cultural court. It's a Sharia court, not a cultural court. If it's a cultural court, then it represents the interest of that federating unit.
Okay.
It's a religious court.
Thank you.
And that court, can I land, please? Actually,
go ahead, please. Please, Joe, you have more than 30 seconds more, please.
No, just in a few seconds I'll be done. And that's if you have a Sharia court, it is enforcing a law that is totally parallel to the law of the land. So what are people saying? That's a pure contradiction and a fraud to start with. It means I, being a Christian, I can't live within the powers of the law of my country, within my country, in Kano State, for example. So why are people not seeing that?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. We have another caller here. Oh my God. We have another caller here, sir. Please, you just have to stick to your 1 minute. Please stick to your 1 minute. Thank you very much. Mr. Chris from Dublin.
Hello. Yeah, good evening. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak again. I just want to respond to what Mr. Emeka said, that the Constitution was drafted by the people in the House of Representatives. That is completely a falsehood. Now, what happened was that it was Abdul Salami that gathered some group of people to write that Constitution. And even Obasanjo as the incoming president, and those people elected in the House of Rep and Senate, they never saw that Constitution. The reason being that this Abdul Salami and his guys, they have made that Constitution very, very difficult to be amended. So when Obasanjo and his people were now sworn in and they saw what was in the Constitution, they know that it's an uphill task to amend the Constitution. Just like Omoyes Kona was suggesting that if things are wrong with the Constitution, then those things should be amended. But the bad news is that these people, they did it in such a way that it is almost impossible to amend any aspect of the Constitution. That is why they hit the Constitution away from Obasanjo and the people in the House of Rep. So those people in the House of Rep and Senate, they were never privy to the Constitution. They were not the people that passed that Constitution into law.
Okay.
Have wrongly claimed Emeka. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chris from Dublin. Thank you, guys. Okay, that will be all. That will be all the calls I'm going to be taking for now. Thank you so much, everybody. Mr. Andrew and everyone asking for people to point out to the parts of the Constitution that they think is not right, that doesn't sit well with them. I hope you guys are listening. Thank you so much. Mr. Emmanuel, I don't know if you're ready for me now. If you're not, I'm going to move straight to the next person, please. Mr. Emmanuel, are you ready now, please? Okay, I guess Mr. Emmanuel is not ready for us. I'm going to move straight to Mr. Walter. Then after Mr. Walter is Mr. CM, then Mr. Pansat. Then we round up the show. Mr. Walter, please, are you there?
Kashi, I'm here. I'm very, very happy with what is going on in the house now. You know why? Because when two or three persons are discussing and there's no argument, just know that they are not progressing. Nigeria is so blessed with intellectual people. We know book, we know things, so we know they fight ourselves. They don't prove and say Constitution is fraudulent. And those when they say are fraudulent, so they have their own reason backing it up. by saying you pick some certain persons, you form a constitution, make it very difficult to amend. That means there are many ulterior motive. Every day they keep on bringing amend constitution, no amend, no amend. That means the thing is not pure. But in a summary of all, today I was privy to watch somebody, a constitutional expert, says even the American constitution is not perfect. So let us not see it like we are arguing here. I know past this person know past me. No, we are all doing all this one. And I'm so happy, I'm glad in here that everybody have a different view. That means we are progressing. All of us cannot sit down here and be thinking alike. So let nobody take it personally. We are all working like this, like the hand, the foot, the nail, the tongue. We are all working in different ways to make Nigeria move forward. So I'm very happy with this. I'm very, very happy. I don't have more to say. I want to thank everybody here that we are progressing. That's why there's this conflict of intellectual contribution. If we are reasoning, that means we are all zombie, and we are not zombie. We must reason differently. And by doing this one, we are digging until we dig the keys, the right key, and obey is the right person. So let us just give him. And I believe everybody here is trying. That's why we are here. If we've not been here, if we're not here, we've nothing like this. And I believe tomorrow we progress more than this. Next month we progress more than this. Let everybody, we work. Nigeria is our own. We cannot leave it. We will take it back from there. I yield my case. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Walter. Okay, we have a caller here. Good evening to you, sir. Thank you for calling. Can you please reduce the your television set or your laptop or your phone, whatever it is that you're using to listen to us? Okay. All right, please, you have just 1 minute, sir.
Good evening. Why I just called because I'm calling from Italy anyway.
Okay.
I just called because of this argument of constitution and other. Those constitutions have been made because of the interest of the leaders. Because they know that when that constitution, the moment region was moving, before we have region, you understand me? So that region, they set this constitution against the region. So that is why all power now move to federal direct. My dear sister, why I'm very happy to join this movement is not more than the candidate, which is Mr. Obi. Obi have been saying things concerning this region. We all living in Europe here or anywhere we are in a foreign country, we know that all their regions are working fine because they have their say in their region, because anything that they are doing in their region, unless if the power of their region is not enough, they have to go to the federal direct. So that is why the region have been moving from time being. That is why we all are suffering. Supposing we are in our region, the time of Midwest, the time of Midwest, I believe everything was working fine.
Okay.
Just because of the interest of the leaders, so they have to change it. Now, Obi said that the moment he entered, or rather he is being voted as a president, the region will come back. Let's see. Let this man come in and let's give us our region back so that we will work according to our strengths. You understand me, please?
All right.
There's no need of arguing.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
You. God bless you.
God bless you too, sir. Thank you so much for your contribution right there. It's as if this constitution thing is, bringing a lot of, I don't know the word to use. Anyways, I want to say thank you to Mr. Alexander Gomez again for the super chat. And I want to say thank you to Mr. Amechi Kyobi once again for your continuous support. God bless you, sir, for always doing this for us. God bless you. Thank you so much. May your pocket never run dry. Mr. CM, I know you cannot wait to talk. I don't see the way you don't shake. Mr. CM, you have the floor, please. Thank you very much.
Okay. Good evening, Kachi. Good evening, everybody. All protocols duly observed. Actually, I know this issue of fundraising, to me, I don't really have opinion on it, in the sense that it is strictly something that the Labour Party themselves, they have legal advice that they know what to do. They know better, they know more than I do. So if they deliberately go and run foul of the law, they have themselves to blame. The Professor Pat Yotomi is well enlightened. He should, they are blessed with talent. So to me, I won't really go beating about the bush, trying to tell them they know what to do. In fact, they're an insider. They know what is involved. Whether they want to draw parallel with what happened or didn't happen is up to them. So to me, it's as good as saying I have no comment on it. Then on the issue, then one thing I want to point out is just to clarification or sort of make it known. I had somebody say, I had time, I was coming in, I had somebody saying Britain operates an unwritten constitution. It is not entirely unwritten, because the word unwritten may confuse some people, thinking that nothing was written down somewhere. What they mean by unwritten constitution is that different, they are not contained in one document. Like you lift the Bible, it contains maybe, I think, how many books of the Bible from Genesis to Revelation. So that's what they mean. All of them they are in different, let me not. He said the UK is often said to have an unwritten constitution. This is not strictly correct. It is largely written, but in different documents. It has never been codified or brought together in a single document. So that's what it means. They have a written document. Their rules are written. It's only that they are in different documents. They didn't bring them back together and bound them like the Bible, where you can lift, this is American Constitution, or you lift the Bible, or like the one they call Nigerian Constitution, you hold it that way. So that is the meaning. So I need to, at least, if you put a question on Google, it will bring it out. I know this in secondary school anyway. Now, you see, my way of talking is I like to cite authority. That is the way I reason. Law on its own, I'm not a lawyer, but a lawyer told me that law is based on precedent. That if something has been proven somewhere, you cite it and it's true, that's all. So law is based on precedent. Has it been used before? If it has not been used before and they found that it can be used, it becomes a legal classicus. In future, you quote it. A lawyer told me this, I'm not a lawyer. So in terms of Nigerian constitution, let me start from the operator. There's a chap called Professor Olushola Adeyeye. He represented Osun Central in the House of Senate. He stood up at the House of Senate and then hold the constitution, think by the right hand. He said the problem with Nigeria is this constitution, which is fraudulent. He said it at the House of Senate or the floor. He said the problem with Nigeria is this. He raised I think above, he said we're doing it this way. He said until we sit down to give ourselves a good constitution, this country can never move forward. I'm calling his name again. Professor Olushola Adeyeye was a professor of biology at Duquesne University in Georgia, United States, before he came back. So this is a practitioner, somebody who is a senator practicing, and he said it before his colleagues. You see, in life, when you are doing certain things, there is what they call procedure. Anything that did not go through the procedure is faulty. That's why people will fault it. You can start a match, you score a goal. If you did not go through the procedure, the referee will rule it off and tell you, no matter how you must celebrate it. Another practitioner, somebody who should, not a practitioner, somebody who's supposed to know, a minister, a member of cabinet, 1999, Nnianwu Odo said, as the Minister for Information, I'm not aware of the Constitution. So many of us ministers are not aware. A minister under Abdul Salam, yet Abdul Salam cornered it and then gave Nigeria right something. Obasanjo was taking oath on 29th May 1999. He hasn't seen the Constitution. He hasn't seen it, a president. Which, when you are being sworn in, you hold the Bible. This is the constitution they are giving you. That's what you say, I will protect, defend, and preserve. These three key words. Every president says it. For those that operate a presidential system. In this case, it wasn't like that. Now, don't take my word for it. Michael Zekome is a constitutional lawyer. Gani was the same before he died. Femi Falana, they've all condemned it. These are practitioners of the law. When I mentioned the last time I said Professor Bio Mwabeze, the best constitutional expert in Africa, I said it here. Nobody gets LLB degree from Nigerian University today if you must have read one or two books written by Professor Bio Mwabeze. He's so an authority. Ask any lawyer. He said the constitution told lie against itself. We the people, that is where the fraud comes from. We the people, all of us here, we on Niger Watch. If let us represent different ethnic groups in Nigeria, and you want to draw a constitution that will guide us, and I take it upon myself, only me, maybe I go and contact and then bring it out. I won't even show you people and they start operating it. How will you feel when you are not carried along? That is the basis. That's why when people are pointing all this, pointing all that, pointing all this, for those that will always tell you about a constitution that is not specific about the citizenship or the citizenship, who will be a citizen of Nigeria? Who? Every constitution will spell out who is supposed to be a citizen of Nigeria. Before the person comes to challenge me, what section of the constitution that even if you say is good, that empower the president to stand in Cairo in November 2019 and say that every Fulani, wherever you live, you are free to come and live in Nigeria as a citizen? Which section of the constitution empowers the president to say these are people, they are from Libya, they are not Nigerians, they are fighting against us. You capture them as prisoners of war. You now put them, say they are repentant Boko Haram, they are Nigerians, carrying passport like me and you. You see, when people, there are certain things that will give us a certain, what they call it, there are certain things that will give us just make common sense reasoning. Today, Americans can amend their, every constitution is not perfect. It can be amended if there is need for it. But the thing is, you must sit down to make it before you start to amend it. Nigerians often quote United States. Yes, in the historic year of 1776, at the historic city of Philadelphia in Pennsylvania, Americans sat down to give themselves a constitution representing people they say these are Americans. They had their representatives, for which I mentioned one man called Alexander Hamilton. He later became the first secretary of US Treasury. Go and check. He represented the state of New York. In Nigeria's own case, was it like that? We've had constitution in 1960. We know how it came about. So when people say Nigerian constitution is a fraud, this is really what they mean. Why are we afraid? Why are we afraid? So when people come here to tell me which section, the section is the beginning sentence, we the people. Did we the people make it? Somebody said they formed a committee. Okay, who represented Ogoni? Who represented the Chekiri? Are they not people? Who are the committee? Supply us the name so that we can see. A constitution that the president of a country did not see when he was being sworn in. You tell me it's not a fraud? Later they smuggled it in and they start operating it. You see, all these things, that's why sometimes I don't really like, because I have authorities to cite. If you say I'm making a mistake, you mean the Professor Bio Mwabeze made a mistake, Nyangodo made a mistake, Adeyeye, the practitioner, a senator, is not talking sense. The same thing with Ganifa Ohimi, the same thing with Michael Zekome and the Femi Falana and the host of all of them. That's what they are saying. People that will start contradictions, they can start. But for me, it starts with we the people. Nyamudo said there are two things wrong with the constitution. He told a lie against himself, and it is not touched on us. When you start down to draft a constitution, after doing it, you subject it to a plebiscite or referendum, where all sections of different part of the country, you have a constitutional sitting, you read it for them. The people will now say, okay, yes, before you now goes on. That is the thing. So somebody writing what they said, the UK, their constitution is unwritten to the extent that they are not contained in a single document. That's what I'm saying. Their constitution is unwritten only to the extent it is written. If you put a question on Google, they will tell you it's written here. Just ask a question, is the UK constitution unwritten? You will see it there. So there's nothing I don't hear. When I like to cite authority. When you do research, you cite. So if you are telling me that if you are contradicting what I'm saying, then you are contradicting Google. Go to Google to Niger, just ask the question, is UK constitution unwritten? Then you hear what they will tell you. So there's no point somebody saying maybe using keyboard to try to be something sort of being keyboard. No, I don't believe that. I cite authorities. That is why I read. When I read something, I tell you where to go. So if you say my argument is faulty on Nigerian constitution, then you have to confront Professor Bio Nwabweze and the rest. So when we come and be saying something, no matter how semantics, my own is that I do not believe, people always say it. My fundamental difference with people is that most people believe that Nigeria have arrived, therefore we can build. I believe we've not arrived. Even Chinua Achebe said it, that Nigeria as a nation has not come into being. Soyinka also said it. Most of these people, some are talking from experience. Ayo Adebanjo said it the other day. Ayo Adebanjo at 94, 95. Edwin Clark also said it when they were having a conference. He said Nigeria as a country has yet to come into being. We need to give ourselves a constitution whereby we now agree this should be in the constitution, this should not be. That is the meaning of the constitution. If you allow me to write a constitution for you, I will put what will suit my fancy, whether you like it or not. I will put what will suit my fancy. But if all of us sit down with our representative, when we now start down, this is what we are going to do. So based on that analysis, we now agree. It's an agreement. So telling me that Abdul Salam did this and somebody, I don't believe in calling people names, but I believe in citing authority. If you doubt me, I've mentioned names. Some of them, people must have had it, and I am saying it. I'm not an authority. I only cite people that are authority, who know more than me. So you go and argue with them. I thank you very much, Kachi. Thank you.
Yeah,
Hi.
Kachi, just a quick one. I have a question for CM.
Mr.
Which
CM,
area of the constitution is
can you
fraudulent?
please ask me first, Mr. Emeka?
Okay, let me ask you, which area of that
You don't just
constitution
say, Kachi,
is
just a quick one,
fraudulent?
and you go ahead
No,
and
he should quote.
go ahead and talk.
He's
Mr.
talking.
Emeka,
Anybody
please.
speaking is talking about an introduction.
Are you hearing me at all? You ask first, because we still have somebody here that is
Oh,
yet
sorry
to
about that.
speak.
Just a quick one. Sorry about. I just jumped in quickly, right? Why I decided to jump in is he came up and he keeps doing it, referencing someone who had an interest in a specific field, and he's referencing someone making a ridiculous statement, and he's proud to reference that individual because that individual has written a book. Now, I want to ask him what section, leave the introductory aspect of it, where it says we, because I have clearly stated that the House of Representatives who represents Nigeria at the highest level, every Nigeria has said, we have looked at this constitution, we adopt this constitution, and we stand by this constitution. And we are representing every entire Nigerian in Nigeria, and we say this constitution represents us and would be the highest law in the land. Now to CM, tell me which section.
It is not the House of Reps that gives a constitution. So that's a lie.
Read the constitution. And as
listen, let me answer your question because I know you will come up with this.
Which section of the constitution? The constitution is right open in my laptop.
Yes,
listen.
You know more than Professor Bio.
Please allow him answer your question.
Please
allow him answer your question. You just ask a question.
We the people.
Keep muting me.
It's a fraud. That's all. Now that is the opening sentence.
You keep muting me, but you don't mute CM. This is bias.
That is because I'm asking you.
My question. I've not asked the question. I've
answered your question.
Emeka, are you trying to get kicked off before I get to
which section of the Constitution is fraudulent? And I will break each section of the Constitution for you. Which section now?
Then keep quiet. Let me answer. Then keep quiet. Keep quiet. Let me answer. Keep quiet. The simple answer to your question is, do you flip the Constitution open? We, the people, that first three letter makes it a fraud because he told a lie.
You're ignorant. The
Look
Constitution,
at,
let me break down the Constitution for you.
I'm ignorant. This is the meaning of fraudulent. Let me read it out. It is.
I didn't want him kicked because that's what he wanted to do. But when is it my turn? I would like to talk. Once it's my turn, please.
Mr. CM, please do you want to reply, Meka? Because it's backstage.
I don't see why he's getting worked up. As simple as that. When you say before you say we agree, did we agree? The House of Reps came into session after Obasanjo was sworn in because he's the president that will inaugurate them. Before then, what House of Reps is he talking about? It is not the House of Reps that gives a constitution. It's the people that is a referendum. When you subject it to a referendum, you first of all elect your representatives. Let's say you want 36 people to be in it, 36 states, one person representing state. When they start, after giving it, you take it back to the people. The people will read, that's what they call plebiscite. It's when people agree, everything is there, then that becomes a law. That is how it is. It is not the House of Reps that gives the, okay, why not House of Senate? What is he talking about? And it's telling me I'm lying. It's a lie. Look at, he thought that by shouting on top of his voice, I'm not on a shouting match. If you want, you go and that I wish you go and argue with Professor Wabezo, Zekome. All these are people you go and shout with. It's not me. It's not me. I'm only giving you an authority. The contribution to world store of knowledge is when you do research. And when you do research, they will ask you, which authorities are you citing in that your field? You must give it. So knowledge is a continuum. You don't just sit somewhere and become dogmatic and feel that this. When people say we the people, the question is, why should that word we the people be there? Who are the people? And you come here, you abuse people. Do that by shouting and abusing people. It will change you. The other day we called you, you couldn't defend Tinubu. You want to. Anyway, please, Adam, really, I'm too refined to engage in a shouting match with such a person.
Thank you, Mr. CM. Thank you. I want to say thank you to Naomi Bella for the super chat right there. Thank you so much, Naomi Bella, for supporting us. You're one of us. God bless you. Thank you for always doing this with us. And Emeka, I'm not going to take you saying anybody is being biased here. You jumped in without being called on. I spoke to you and you decided, and I gave you time to ask your question. So you cannot just come here and say somebody is being biased. Please, I do not even intend to yell or shout or get upset or whatsoever today. So please,
I have listened to you clearly.
Please,
right?
Please.
You allowed him to speak.
Mr. CM has not spoken at all today. You've been here. You have spoken 3 good times. 3 times. He has not spoken for once today.
I am not talking. I asked him a question. Can I finish
you are
the
saying
question?
that I allowed him to talk and I muted
you took me out to the backstage.
You keep doing it all the time. Mr. Emeka.
But you don't do it when...
Mr. Emeka, you kept going on and on. You kept going on and on. Don't do that. You kept going on and on. You asked a question. Allow the person that you asked the question to answer. If you keep
when he answers a question wrongly,
you.
Can I provide a rebuttal to that? When you've already kicked
he
me
has
out,
already answered your question. Please, we still have Mr. Pansat here. He has answered your question. We still have Mr. Pansat here who is here to speak.
I can take that, but you will say you're not biased when you kick me out. You're not biased.
Why won't I kick you out? Why won't I kick you out? When I keep muting you and you keep unmuting yourself. I said that before now. But please, guys, do not unmute yourself when I mute you. Why won't I kick you out? Why won't I put you backstage? You have spoken 3 times already today. Are we here because of you? Are we here because of you? I mute you. Please just respect it. And you came in without even seeking for permission. I still allowed you to go ahead. And now you're saying somebody is being biased.
My problem is when someone speaks ignorantly on the public forum and twist it to be knowledge. That is my problem.
You are not the one to
speaking ignorantly on something that is very fundamental to this.
Not. Mr. Emeka, it is not your call to say somebody is speaking ignorantly. It is not your call. You made your submission. You have your views. Mr. CM also have his views. Likewise, every other person on the panel. So it is not your call to say somebody is speaking ignorantly just because they don't agree with you.
This is not a point of agreement. This is a constitution. And I've asked him a question.
It is not your call. Mr. Emeka,
it is not a point of opinion.
It is not your call. That is what he thinks. And for everybody who has called, I have asked them to point to the part where they say it is fraudulent. And everybody has been pointing to that part. And I called your name and I called Mr. Andrew. Please, are you guys listening to the people saying that this part and that part is fraudulent? Are you guys listening? I called upon your attention and that of Mr. Andrews. Just because somebody else doesn't agree with you doesn't mean you come here and say anybody is being ignorant about anything. Please, it is not your call. It is not your call. I beg you, don't allow us to do this every single time. It doesn't even make any sense for us to come here and keep shouting. It doesn't make sense. Please. You made your submission and I did not even bother. I did not interfere. I did not stress anything. Please, I beg you. Don't do this. Don't. You have spoken 3 times already. You came and you
talked. It's
not
about when I speak. It's about what to speak. You are biased. You kick me out all the time.
Emeka, can you just stop?
If there's an argument here, Emeka, can you stop? If there's an argument, you don't kick them out.
Stop.
You don't kick them out. But
Emeka, stop.
To make that argument, you kick me out.
Emeka, can you stop?
Accept it with your futures and let
Emeka,
us go.
Stop. You're not a child. You're not a child, Emeka. Every time you come here, it's always the same thing. Every time you come here, Emeka,
grow up. I'm not talking to you. I'm
Emeka,
talking to
grow up. Grow up. What is this?
Okay. Emeka is already out of the panel. I don't think I want to accept him back here today because I don't want anybody to say anything that they would regret. This is a live show. People are watching and people are listening. So I don't want to say anything that I will regret, and neither do I want any of the panelists to say anything that they do not mean. So I'm just not going to allow Mr. Emeka back here for today. Telling somebody shut up, I'm not talking to you and things like that. I don't want that, please. Thank you all so much. I appreciate everybody. Thank you again to Mr. Alexander Gomez for your continuous support. We appreciate you. And to everyone, I appreciate you guys. Thank you all so much. You guys, thank you. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Let's move straight to the next person we have here, which is Mr. Pansat. Mr. Pansat, please, you have the floor for the next 3 minutes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kachi. I didn't want to interrupt you. I wanted you to let him have it a little bit more before I interrupt. But it looks like Mr. Andrew wants to speak before me because he's leaving. It's up to you to make the call, obviously. I'm good either way. Andrew wants to speak before me because he has to go. Are you allowing that, or should I go on?
Okay, please, Mr. Andrew, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Pansat. I won't take long, and thanks, Kachi. I listened to everything. I was laughing back here, and I've also listened to everyone who have pointed out what is wrong in the Constitution, and I will go with what Omoye's corner said in its amendment. What the last caller said, the last caller who specifically referenced Peter Obi as to him having to review the Constitution, the elderly man that called. So, and I appreciate that because I put in the comment section that we don't have any leader that possesses that moral capacity to push for this amendment so far, and I strongly believe Peter Obi will do that. And even those who are saying the Constitution is fraud, should Peter Obi come up and say he wants to review it and amend it, will they kick against it? I doubt if they will do that. Now, CM mentioned quoted a lot of scholars and authorities. And the question I would have liked to, it's not a question, let me just put it that way. I'll make a statement. These scholars and authorities that you quoted or he quoted, that claim the Constitution is a fraud. This is the sad part of it, okay? Anyone can claim the Constitution is a fraud, no matter how well read they are. But none of them have come together to say, let us form our own political party and take over the nation and fix it. It's one thing to talk. It's another thing to make a conscious effort to fix the problem. I respect scholars. And I will always respect them because they are well read than me. But none of them has come up together to say, you know what, this thing is bad, this thing is bad, this thing is bad. Let's come together, form our own political party because we know better, and let's fix this thing. None of them so far. So I respect. But like I said, I only give him 1 minute. The elderly man that called, that referenced what Peter Obi said, he will give power back to the state. He's going to review the constitution, for crying out loud. Let's wait till then. We can back all we want to back till tomorrow. It ain't going to happen. We only need a man that possesses that moral capacity to effect this change, this ideology, this belief, this so-called thing we have that the constitution is fraud, or we've pointed it out. If not, if Tinubu gets there, if Atiku gets there, if Kwakwaso gets there, mark this word. Today is what? Today is the 6th of September 2022. You will come back and repeat the same statement. Rather than push for a moral capacity person to be there that will fix this thing, we're saying everything. Thank you, Kashi. Thank you, Mr. Pansa. God bless you.
Yes,
Bless
Mr.
you
Andrew,
too.
please, I'll have to take 2 minutes of your time again. Sorry, we have 2 callers actually on the phone. We have the first one here. Please, sir, go ahead. You have just 1 minute to make your submission. Thank you.
Hi, Kachi. Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Please go ahead.
Okay, my name is Gingerbread Man. I'm part of the panel, but today I couldn't come in.
That's
Kachi,
fine.
please, my first address is to you. I want to beg. I know this is not my show. Your show can only admit 10 people at a time, the panelists. But we are a lot of people listening, and sometimes we want to make contribution. I'm going to plead with you. I think it's going to be fair if you give the callers more time to express themselves, because I know being a panelist, we get 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute. So the panelists have enough time to express themselves. But just be fair to give the callers, more time to express themselves, because we would have been there, but you can only contribute through call.
Okay, that's
the first
fine.
one. I want to address this constitution of a matter. I think it is very, very unfair and derogatory for some of the panelists to say that we are uneducated. I think it is arrogant. I'm very happy that a lot of people have called in to point out the different aspects of the constitution that is a fraud. And, there's been part of the constitution that, it's against itself. You said no states will adopt a particular religion. Then you go ahead in another section, you say a state can adopt Sharia. These are the things that makes it a fraud. You make a constitution in such a way that it cannot be amended. I know I listened to Omoye's corner talking about if there's any part of the constitution that we don't agree with, then we should amend it. Yes, we agree with that, but the fraudulent part of it is that it is designed in such a way that you cannot amend it. Now, to go straight to the point, which Mr. CM has made, but I want to make it as a point of emphasis to Emeka. I know that he's been kicked out, but I want him to learn, because that guy is the most ignorant person, but he calls other people ignorant. I used this example the last time, and I'm going to use it again. The Constitution is a legal document. Now, in the court of law, when you have a criminal case, you have a criminal in front of you, and you have the evidence that the person has committed that crime. But if the foundation in which the evidence was obtained is fraudulent, it is without a warrant, abuses the person's right or in any way, then it makes that evidence non-admissible in the court of law. And by virtue of the evidence not admissible, that criminal is going to work as a free man. That is the same thing with the Nigerian Constitution. The very first place, before we start going into asking the questions, which part of the Constitution do you disagree with and all of that, the very first place that said, will the people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has agreed. Nobody agreed. Where the people did not come together to agree. How can you now put that as a foundation to start the constitution? That makes it a fraud. Now, in Mr. Andrew, I don't know whether it's true Nigeria is talking about P2B has benefited from the constitution, so you cannot say it's a fraud. Let me say this. Nigeria is practicing a democracy as of now. That constitution, as fraudulent as it is the working document, the legal working document that Nigeria is operating on right now. That they're operating on it now does not mean that it's a perfect document. And what Mr. P2B did was to look into that document, perused it carefully, and went to court to address a particular section that concerns his mandate in Anambra State. And he was able to have a favorable interpretation that returned him into office. Don't mistake that as whether the document is a fraud or not a fraud. Those are two separate things.
Okay.
You know, for Nigeria to function as a democracy, there must be a working document. And
Thank
that 1999 constitution that we have is the document that we are functioning on right now. But does it mean that it is a perfect document? Does it mean that it's fraudulent? Does it mean that we, the people of Nigeria, agree that that document will be what we are going to use to run the country?
Okay.
Thank you, God bless.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Gingerbreadman. We have another caller here, guys. This will be all the calls I'm going to be taking for today. This is Mr. Efe, all the way from Italy. Mr. Efe, good evening to you. Thank you for calling. Please go ahead and make your submission.
Yeah, good evening, my sister, my lovely sister. I'm proud of you, and I like the work you are doing. I don't want anybody to come this Nigeria platform to come and stress you, because you are doing a great job.
Thank you.
You are trying for it. You are trying. I need to compliment you and encourage you. See, this Mr. Emeka, everybody know the way I did it. We talk Irish, you know. So Mr. Emeka, na confusion person. You understand? So I just want to beg all you Nigeria watch follower. One and only reason, Mr. Emeka, na confusion person. Constitution of Nigeria, it not help anybody. If it help me personally, when they talk to you, so I for not take risk on Europe. Now risk I take on here. Papa no day, mama no day. If Nigeria they good, why this constitution not help us? Why? A question. So no, we don't call it deceive ourselves here. You understand? And they can't come with mission. They don't play. No, we don't call it deceive, because I compliment my sister Connor. God bless you, my lovely sister. You did talk well. Even Mr. Tiopala. When people they when they watch you now, even as I did say I don't receive call. You understand? When they do well, when I get people where they look up to now, when I be like how they talk and say celebrity people they follow now. So make person not come here call it deceive anybody. Constitution. You don't help anybody. Let's try Peter Obi as my sister Connor said. Let's just move on, try. We know say Nigeria don't fail everybody. This guy, anytime you call, it was called confusion. It they cost everybody. Who are you? You are in Western world for here, they respect women. They respect women. You see, they call everybody. Consistently, they tell you saying that if you they watch the program now, because anybody where they say condition like this, they want complete their mission. At least Kasi they told you, say, okay, you respect. You must respect. If you don't respect woman, that means you don't respect your mama. You know me, I know they talk with my mom. You understand? You see, they told you cost people. You calm down. They come because how much they want to give you. You got the cost confusion for here. So this now contribution we say this constitution what they are saying, it don't help anybody. If the fear made them. Because Nigeria now, you don't go to state of no-go area. I don't know how to make.
Okay.
You understand, my sister?
All right, thank you.
So that is my contribution.
Thank you.
Thank you, my lovely sister. May God bless you.
Amen. Bless you too. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello. Thank you. Thank you for calling Niger Watch. Thank you. Good evening to you.
Hello. Hello. Good evening.
Yes, we can hear you, sir. Please go ahead.
Please, CM is there. Please, it says CM God.
Mr. CM is still here, sir. Mr. CM is here. Please go ahead.
I want to ask CM. Because there is a question I want to ask the panel. Now, because I was the last person that called just now that the region have been taken away from us. Now we want to bring it. Are we using rigid constitution or a flexible constitution in Nigeria? Because when I was in primary school, because I'm a primary school holder, certificate holder here, I'm talking now with my experience, my old experience. Because are we using rigid or flexible constitution?
All right. Thank you very much. I believe Mr. CM heard you, and you'll be answering your question pretty soon. But before then, we still have somebody, two people, three people actually who are yet to speak. Thank you guys. I can see Adelaja Ogumbiyi. Thank you so much for the super chats right there. Thank you so much for your love and support. God bless you. God bless you. I really do appreciate this. God bless you. Thank you very much. Let's move straight to Mr. Pansat, please. Mr. Pansat, you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kachi. The callers, they've been quite interesting comments that we got from Gingerbread Man and others. Now, before I speak, I want to divide my speech into two. One will be to enlighten all of us about the Constitution, sovereignty, who's supposed to give that Constitution, and then my actual speech here. So without objection, I'm asking that I can use all the time that I could consume to do the first part. I don't think there's any objection. So let me go ahead and say.
When you say all the time, Mr. Pansat, we're not saying that we are going to sleep here.
No, I'll
So
be
please,
reasonable. By the way, when you want me to then go to utilize my 5 minutes, you can stop me anytime. Okay, thank you. But the first part of my speech is going to be by stipulation. I don't think anybody's going to argue with any of this. So if they would, they could raise their hands and object. I believe that the Constitution is defined as aggregate of fundamental principles or established precedents that constitute the legal basis of a polity. Right? So there's no problem with that. In essence, the fundamental principles that we are going to be governed, rights, laws, rules, regulations, things like that. So that's a stipulation to that. I then want to go to the previous constitutions that we've had before this particular shambolic 1999 constitution. We had constitution in 1960. We had a Nigerian constitution of 1963. Another constitution in 1979. And then, of course, this one we have now, the constitution we have now. Now, I will put emphasis on the 1960 constitution. That constitution had arrangements. The first chapter, it talks about the federation, its territories. The second chapter talked about citizenship. Who are citizens before October 1, 1960? Blah, 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 to the fundamental rights, to the governorship, and all that. So that's there. Nobody's going to argue with that. Sovereign. Who is the sovereign? Obviously, relatively speaking, sovereign in the modern sense is the people's will. It's the people who are sovereign. Unlike prior to this modern times when you have emperors, rulers, monarchs, like in Britain and people, places like that. But let's look at Switzerland, but especially the United States, where the sovereign is the absolute, unrestricted, unrestrained, unbounded, infinite, dominant, predominant power. That's the people. Nobody can substitute for that. You can't just say you're an army and you go let's say in 1999, you start creating a constitution where you say, we, the people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, do blah, blah, blah. Especially saying, having firmly and solemnly resolved to live in unity and harmony. Now, a lot of the things that are enumerated in the Constitution that we have now, they're good. But that's not the issue. The process to arrive at having a constitution is very arduous. It's a very, very important thing. For example, you see that mistake being made by Emeka and several others. When they think, let's say the Senate or senators or the members of the House Assembly or the president, it's the highest body. No, not at all. Aside from the people being sovereign, the highest authority that is delegated is to the delegate to a constitution, to frame a constitution. There'll be somebody or a group of people called the delegates. Now, if we look at the United States, they have a beautiful constitution. Some say it was even divinely thrown down here or not. In their own case, they also, like the Nigeria case, they already had several states that operated, and they were trying to form a union, a much bigger center. And then, of course, these people, the legislatures, that's what they refer to in their own constitution. So the delegates bypassed the state legislatures, reasoning that their members would be reluctant to give up power to a national government. Instead, they called for a special ratifying conventions in each state. So even though they had these legislatures like we have now, they are unconcerned with those people. The delegates made the call. So the army cannot write a constitution on our behalf, the sovereign. So it was deceitful, duplicitous. It's a counterfeit. It's a sham. If Emeka doesn't know that, it's perfidious to present yourself as somebody that you're not. You are not the sovereign just because you have guns or you are the army, especially ours. These generals never fought in a war before. They have their chests full of medals. They don't have degrees. They didn't go to school. They're scheming, treacherous sons of a bitches. They can't write a constitution under our name. Besides, we had constitutions before. What's wrong with the 1960 constitution? So when we say that we do need a constitution, that we're not going to operate under a fraudulent one, that's what we mean. Is he saying something nice? Yes, it is saying something nice. In that constitution, it's not all evil, but it doesn't have authenticity. The people, beautiful people of Nigeria, that's who's supposed to give that constitution. So this is not obviously a good forum to debate, especially people who don't know their ass from their mouth, such as Emeka, who come in here to insult people. But like I said yesterday, I don't like the admonitions. It's time to take action on that boy. I want him banned from here because he comes in, he's solemn, he's quiet, only to then bust out loud at some point when he's had enough. No, we can't put up with it. We have a very welcoming platform, that's true, and beautiful hosts. The owner of this platform is in Nigeria. He's back home. He grew up in the United Kingdom, but he's fighting at home, trying to make home a better place. And look at all these beautiful, knowledgeable, fair hosts that they put together. I mean, those of us in diaspora should be ashamed of ourselves. Look at this platform. Look at the one that's put up by the guy in the United Kingdom. Doesn't have a Nigerian accent, doesn't talk Nigerian, doesn't know what the hell he's doing, but he's in diaspora, United Kingdom. Now, sometimes I don't get upset because the UK, they don't know what democracy is. The entire place has never,
Thank you.
ever elected a head of state. Let me just conclude by saying that, well, anyway, I won't make your job as more difficult. I had other things I wanted to talk about. I see that boy is back on this panel. If I'm going to be on a panel with him, he has to be admonished finally this time. And then he ought to be removed from this platform. He doesn't belong here. This is not a debating society, academic debate, or have him insulting people like CM. You could disagree, but you know, like earlier, this boy, I was driving back from my prestigious chambers, and I heard him citing section 255 of the Constitution. That only established Abuja. That is not section 225. That's talking about political parties and their assets and liabilities and stuff like that. This guy is citing section 255. Now, if I'm not a Nigerian to know that, other, say, Jamaican listening to us will hear him citing section 255, and they're going to go look it up. And he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about.
Thank you, Mr. Pansat.
Thank you.
Thank you very much
Yeah, Kachi,
for your submission.
you know, insult has been thrown at me. Can I?
Which insult has been thrown at you? The one where you give us uncle. Please, Mr. Meka, I beg in the name of God, I do not want to raise my voice. Thank you very much. Let's go straight to the next person we have here. We have Patriotic Nigerian. Good evening to you. Thank you for joining. Please, you have just 3 minutes to make your submission. Thank you. Patriotic Nigerian, are you there, please? Okay, let's move straight to the next person, Mr. Juden. Mr. Juden, please. Are you ready for me?
Sorry. I was trying to unmute. I'm sorry, Mr. Juden.
Okay.
Go ahead. All right, thank you. So I actually called earlier, but as I think a caller called after me, and plus that you give us more time to speak when we call, because it's like you're just putting us in a hurry to make our points out, and we can't really get to what we want to say.
Okay.
I'm imploring that you do that. I'm not. I know this is.
No, that's fine. We're definitely going to work on that. Thank you for pointing that. You have 3 minutes to make the submission.
Yeah, I'll just cut to the chase. A lot has already been said about the issue of the Constitution and whether it's a fraud or not. It's very obvious that this Constitution was imposed on us. It's self-contradictory. A Constitution that stands for a secular state also approves a religious court. It's not a customary court that aligns with we the people. It's a religious court, which the Constitution totally goes against. So I don't think we need to look too far to see how the Constitution is not what it should be. A lot has been said about England, and I think Mr. CM has dispelled the opinion that the English people do not have a written constitution. But even if they do not, the English people are, to a large extent, a very monolithic people. It's almost the same group of people. So when they are coming together, it's like you dealing with your family members. You might not need a constitution to deal with your family members. And even with that, we still see that the United Kingdom, which is the larger, representation of England, as other people, the Scottish people, the Welsh people, who maintain their peculiarity within that federation of the United Kingdom, because for you to be able to have for an heterogeneous people to work together, there must be a constitution that brings in the constituting parts, and that's something that the current constitution that we have does not have. It's just the imposition of a group of people, their ideas, and not we, the people, actually coming together to say, this is what we want as a federating unit in this whole nation. And that we got it right in the 1960s when we had regional representation, regional, federating units. So people could actually deal with issues within themselves based on their personal, peculiarities, based on the commonalities that they have within themselves. So an Igbo man knows that I just need to go to the Eastern Premier to be able to and he will understand me. We speak the same language. Of course, there were other people in the Eastern region, but to a large extent, things were going on well then. And that's all we're asking for now. Yes, we know there is, a book, I don't want to call it a constitution, that currently guides our proceedings as Nigerians today, but it does not represent our interests well enough. Even in the United States, with a very well thought out constitution, they still keep amending. Someone said, oh, the same constitution is what Peter Obi is going to ride on. Let's look at the United States Constitution, for example, where slavery was normal at the beginning, but there had to come a 13th Amendment to stop slavery. So should the people at that point have just said, oh, because this constitution is what we've been working on, then let's just keep it going like that and let people keep being slaves? I don't think any of us would agree with that point of view. But that's what we because maybe Peter Obi has benefited from it in the past. We are trying to say, okay, just keep it that way. And I don't think that's the right way to look at things. And please, I take exceptions to Emeka because I'm seeing his comments here. He's talking about ignorant people. Please, let's be civil. Let's be civil. And again, if for you to even know that this constitution is not about we the people, the fact that almost every original region keeps having agitations, keeps talking about it. Is it the Eastern people who will say, okay, yes, their own is very prominent because at the point they even had to go to war as a way of surviving, if we're really honest about that. Or is it the Yorubas? It's just that theirs is quite muted because they are actually, as in they have leaders who are part of the current political infrastructure. Or is it the Niger Delta that are always agitating? So who are the people? Who are the people? Are these not the people we've called, apart from maybe the northern parts? Even in the northern parts, the middle belt people they have some sort of muffled agitation. So who are the people that accepted or came up with this constitution? So I think the facts just bear out in this case. We don't need to. I think it's just going to be an academic exercise if we keep trying to say whether this constitution is a fraud or it's not. A better argument would be, let's make the best out of it. Not to say that, oh, we just have to keep it going. And then someone else talked about, oh, it's not a matter of the constitution, it's the constitution that encourages people to take bribes or engage in fraudulent activities. I just feel like that it's like that argument, it does not hold here. As someone pointed out, that's more of a moralist argument, not a legal argument. The Constitution is a legal document that binds people. It constitutes what is called Nigeria today, and the constituents are dissatisfied about that. And we can't just keep shutting them down and trying to say that their agitations are not valid. That's my point.
Thank you very much, patriotic Nigerian. Let's move straight to Mr. Jordan, please. Mr. Jordan, please, you have the floor.
Okay. Yeah. Still on this issue of constitution, because personally, it makes me feel so sad that most of other things said, tell themselves they're educated, and the way they respond to something that several legal scholars. I'm not a lawyer. I'm in the medical field. If you ask me about things in my field, I will authoritatively give you breakdown. But however, I am not also ignorant not to know that several legal luminaries in Nigeria and experts have variously come out to debunk this, to debunk the Nigerian Constitution and allege to the fact that it is a constitutional fraudulent document. Okay, because number one, one of their first argument, like CM Punk has pointed, and like many other people, you can't say we the people when there was no people there. Okay, you can't. Nigeria is a country. It's a nation. It's a country made up of several nations, comprising of over 200 nations of different languages and ethnicities, and then you can't handpick 50 people at the back door and then bring them together and then come up with a document and then throw it on the country, on that same country, and say this is your constitution. And any rational mind will come out and say that is a constitution. That is total rubbish. Total rubbish. A constitution that, so-called constitution that arrogates enormous power to the president. Do we know that the president of Nigeria, by the Nigerian so-called constitution, is the most powerful president on earth on a democratic setting, aside the dictatorship? Does anybody know that? That is a fact. Anybody that wants to argue that should go and find out. Nigerian president is the most powerful president as arrogated in that fraudulent constitution by the people who sat together dubiously to craft that fraudulent legal document and handed it over to us. And that is why we are where we are today. So if somebody is saying, what is constitution making you this one to steal? Or that is just a lame argument, because leadership dictates the tone on which dictates the direction on which a country goes. If a leadership is faulty, we always say it in our different proverb languages, that when the head of the fish is rotten, forget about the entire body. When a river is disrupted from the head, forget about the entire body of the river. Everything is going to go bad. If a president of Nigeria today start living exemplary life, a clean life, as required by a sound constitution, everybody will fall in line. Everybody will fall in line. A constitution that almost stripped the state government of any power to protect their citizens. That is why you see Hausa Fulani going every place, from Hausa terrorists sponsored by Buhari and many other governors, El Rufai and so on. That is why they go from state to state, kidnapping, killing people, and the state government, they are handicapped. They run to Abuja if they want to get any police to do anything. They can't do anything. They can get any police, and Abuja will make one call, just like whenever they arrest, like Amoteku arrest any Fulani terrorists, they will only make a call and then they will release them the following day. That is why today in Nigeria, no Fulani, no terrorist has ever been tried and put to jail in Nigeria. That have been killing people, maiming people, destroying farmland. You know, many states today have been taken over completely by these terrorists. And you're telling me we're operating a constitution that people should. There is no need to even amend something that is unamendable. You can't amend something that. Who mute me? Is to scrap it off. Okay, you can't you can't start a structure with an irregular foundation, with a bad foundation, and expect that building to stand the test of time. No, it can't stand. You have to start a building by having a solid foundation. Nigerian foundation is fraudulent, and not only fraudulent, is shaky. It cannot stand the test of time, and that is why we are where we are today.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's well, too bad.
Thank you, Mr. Judin. Thank you for that. We're going to go straight to Mr. Omori. Mr. Omori, please, you have 3 minutes. Thank you.
All right. Thank you once again, Kachi. I was here earlier, but I had some network technicalities, and
that's fine.
And I have some issues I've been dealing with too. I don't know why we keep, I don't know how, this is a big digression. It's also very important, but this wasn't the topic of the day. Like I said earlier, for the fundraising and all that, yeah, I think Obi has a team that can deal clearly with what the issue at stake. It's a non-issue to me, but then they say, for my local, man, I speak pidgin for you. They say the bear where they find a feather, where they go take do juju, you know, they fly near ground. So Obi has to be very careful, you know, they don't have anything, to campaign with. The only thing is to find fault. So from one fault to the other, doesn't have structure, it's going to be impeached and other things. Now, he's talking about fundraising. It has been there in the constitution. Omoyele raised money in the last, through GoFundMe, nobody raised issue. Omoyele traveled around the world in the last election, 2019, nobody raised it. Now there is Obi, he's trying to make a mountain out of molehill. I already talked about that. So, since we now know who they are, they control the army, they control the police, they control the INEC, but they cannot control the people. And the power of the people is stronger than all these things I have mentioned. So, since the hunter has learned how to shoot without missing, the birds have to learn how to fly without petting. I'm just, this is Obi and his supporters. So, we cannot fall into their booby trap. So, let's be careful. It's not an emotional matter, like I said before, it's a constitutional issue. So, it's going to be trashed out. So, this issue, I mean, we've debated this thing over and over. Each time Emeka comes here, I think that guy is on a mission, you know, but he cannot succeed here. Who do you know? You don't even need to quote authorities to know that the constitution is a fraud. It's a military document. It's all over. Everybody is aware. Even the law and the mighty is complaining about it. This was the issue Buhari fought to his grave. This is the issue Falana is fighting. The like of Ozekumens are fighting. Those are constitutional authorities. So, I don't know what we are. Do you know the lawyer to tell you? You say you have a federation. In federation in America, the oil in the East belong to those. Texas belong to those in Texas. They pay royalty to the center. That is the true characteristic of a federalism. Yeah, every state, every month in Nigeria, the governors go cap in hand begging for allocation from Abuja. Does that make sense to you? I mean, do you need an authority to tell you that? When the state governor has no authority over the security in his state, when security is local, do you need a constitutional lawyer to tell you that something is wrong with that constitution? It was a military document. That was why in 1999, Gani did not, those that fought for the democracy we have today, did not participate because the military was not trusted. Considering what they did to Abiola by 212 annulment and all that, after that, about 5 parties came together to say, who they can't fit, 5 democratic parties coming together to endorse a military head of state as their candidate. So we were weary of what we thought they were not to be trusted. So Gani said everybody should be on his side so that we can tackle them, to their roots. So nobody, no true Democrat, no true activists participated in 1999. They imposed the 1999 military document. It was a decree imposed on the people of Nigeria. Even said with the people, in what aspect did we participate? There was no input from the people. Why do we keep arguing this every time? I don't know. Emeka cannot come here and disrupt everybody. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. If at least it's good, people are taking side. Things are hard. Economic, situation is tough. If you must eat a toad, the juicy one. If you must defend the people, know what you are coming to defend. Not coming here with whatever you are given. You try to mislead people. Be rational in your argument. Be objective and be constructive. People are here to learn from you. We are here to learn from one another. Nobody is an island. Nobody has the monopoly of knowledge. We can't continue to argue this thing over and over again. If there's anything wrong in Nigeria, a lot of things are wrong. But the constitution is number one. That is the foundation of our problem. So why are we repeating one thing over and over again? Is coming here with you that is ignorant is not even a problem. I can be ignorant, of a particular subject, even if I'm a professor. It just means I wasn't aware of the full fact at the time I was making a comment. I can say, pardon my ignorance. It doesn't mean, but that I'm not willing to learn is the greatest problem in ignorance. You are the one coming here to call people ignorant. Man, where do you belong? I'm sorry, man. I'm getting a bit emotional. Please, let's let this issue to rest once and for all. It doesn't mean that if a mechanism, I know you want to be democratic, like I said the other day, you want to give people freedom of expression and all that, but then it has a limit. Wherever is another man's right stops, another one begins from there. You can't come here that you are giving freedom to come and express yourself. Does not make you to come and insult everybody. Nobody's going to take that nonsense from you. If you are saying something reasonable, people are willing to listen. They don't come here to assassinate people's character. With falsehood and a calculated attempt to destroy the objective of this platform. We're not going to tolerate that. We don't need a professional. No, everybody, even those in primary school, knows that the constitution is not working for them. It's not working for anybody. You call a state governor, the chief security officer of a state. The commissioner has to wait for order from IG from Abuja. A robbery took place in my state, Edo State. Instead of the governor cannot even know, doesn't even know what the commissioner is doing with the IG. I mean, it's nonsense. In America, they have federal police, form of the FBI and co. Every state has its own police. Every what we call local government in Nigeria, they have their own police. Even campuses have their own police. We say we have a federation. Like this issue started. Somebody quoted, I don't want to go to it. Time will not permit me to go to the historical perspective of our constitutional involvement. The Little Constitution, the Ottoman Constitution, before the 1960 Independence Constitution, 1963 Republican Constitution, all the way to 64, 79, 99. The one of 1999 was just a military document imposed on the people by Busalami and co. Whether they wanted to just pacify the Yorubas after eliminating Abiola and the moment of June 12, whether they had it in mind to come back or so, they just wanted to give people power by proxy. They wanted to rule the people by proxy. That was where they went. Instead of looking for a credible Yoruba man as presented in form of Olufa, they went for the one of their own that was in jail. Do we need a prophet to be telling us this is not history? We already adults when this things took place. The greatest problem, somebody was talking about going back to region. I'm sorry, we can't go back to region. If you say we're going back to regional government, which was good for us, the achievement of Para achieved in the eastern region, the laudable achievement, the free education and others, that one was achieved in the south and the western region, the one that was achieved in the northern region by the Tafa Balewa and co. They were based on regional system of government. But the coup of 1969, put an end to all that. When Aguironsi took over, after the coup by Kaduna Ezogo and his group failed, Aguironsi took over and took away all the power and came up with a unitary system. That is the problem we have today. I mean, this is not even the problem. To make a mistake is number one. How much have we learned from our mistake? Constitution can be amended if there's no perfect constitution anywhere in the world. No perfect document anywhere in the world. Even Americans have had their own constitutional amendments. What are we doing? What have we done? Even the senator, my beloved friend, CM quoted, what are they doing since 1999? We all agree that this document is fraudulent. It's faulty. What are we doing to amend it? Do we continue to live like this? Because a few people are benefiting from the fraud called Nigerian Constitution. The answer is no. This is the greatest problem of Nigeria state. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Omori. And for Martina Obasigi TV, I believe you came late to the show yesterday. I actually handled yesterday's show, Martina. Probably you came quite late yesterday when the show was already ending. Okay, guys, that being said, I want to thank everybody for, their contribution today. Thanks so much. I have actually learned so much from you guys. Thanks to everyone. And thank you for your concern, because I've been receiving series of messages. Thanks so much for your concern. A patriotic Nigerian, Mr. Judin, Mr. Omori, Mr. Son of God, King Emeka, Mr. Pansat, Mr. CM, Tunaija. Thanks to everyone who was here today. Omiya's Corner was also here. Thanks so much to everyone. Mr. CM, thank you guys for always taking time out of your busy schedule to always do this with us. God bless every single one of you. This just rightly shows that we all have a common goal, which is to fight for the betterment of the country, Nigeria. Thank you so much. God bless you all for everything that you do. May our effort never be in vain. I want to say thank you.
Can I speak with you privately after the show is over? Can I? Is it okay?
Are you calling me to apologize to me or what?
No, I said you're biased, but you've been biased to me. I'm just biased. But can I speak to you privately? Just
Mr. Meka, please, this is not the time for this. After sending the private chat you sent to everyone saying this is for the ignorant ones, I don't know how you do it, I don't know how you can be so two-faced. 1 minute you're throwing tantrums, not being very pleasant with your words to people, and the next minute you're talking very calmly as if nothing ever happened. I do not understand how you can be that way. I don't understand how it's possible for somebody to be that way. Look at your message on the private chats, dropping messages and saying this is for the ignorant people here. How do you do that? And you're
It
coming to
doesn't
the
pertain to
panel.
those who are not.
No, 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 no. You don't use such languages. And you do not come here and you're talking very calmly as if nothing happened. I trashed this, we spoke about this, and you're still doing it. It doesn't make any sense. And now
It's a
you're
con, it's a
asking
con, it's
if
a
you
con
can
master.
speak to
That's
me
the
privately.
condition of a con man.
What are you? What private conversation do you want to have with me when you cannot even hear me talk? When I cannot even tell you, oh, this is how we should do this, and you cannot even listen to the rules and regulation of the platform. So
Yeah, no,
how?
no worries about it.
How do you want me
Maybe
to
if I speak to you privately, there's no worries about that. We could talk
do you
privately
want
on
me to
specific
do
things.
that? Anyways, thanks to everyone who was here, who has been here, and the ones some people have actually left. Thanks to all of you. I really do appreciate every single one of you. God bless you all. I appreciate you guys. I don't know how it's possible for people to be so two-faced. I don't understand how it's possible. You're telling somebody to accept something with their full chest, then accept your own with your own full chest too. It's just as simple as ABC. Do unto
No,
others
no
what you
need.
want them to do
I
to you.
can. I should be able to do
Oh,
that.
good. I know they
Control my.
talk to you. I know they talk to you, Mr. Emeka. They talk say people. Your name no be people. So I know they talk to you. I beg. I beg in the name of God. I beg. Everybody crazy for you. All of us just I don't. So I beg in the name of God. I beg. I beg you. I beg you. I beg you. As I was saying, thanks to everybody who has been here and who was here. Thank guys. I really do appreciate every single one of you. And to everyone who has given us a super chat today. Oh my God, you guys made me smile. Now, my Bella, you make me smile today. Oh, now God will bless you. God will bless every single one of you. All of you way they come here with a clean heart, with a genuine heart. Something you come here because you're genuine about the cause. God now go bless you now. Our labor no go be in vain. No. Yes, now God will bless you now. I appreciate every single one of you. And to those people in the panel, oh my God, I keep saying that I learned so much from you guys. I want to stand on the part with Omoye when she said she has never been really interested in Nigerian politics up until now. I want to say that is my own story. I have never been really interested in Nigerian politics up until now. So I'm really glad, I joined the Nigeria World family. I'm learning so much from you guys. God bless you all. Una own no go spoil you. Una own no go spoil. Anybody who wants spoil una own, that person won't go spoil. Thank you all so much. And to our lovely viewers watching us from all over the globe. Oh my God. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for viewing. And those people that called in today on today's show. When are they hot? Hotty. Thank you guys. I appreciate every single one of you. Now, God, thank God, bless all of you now. I want to take time out to acknowledge those people in the comment section before we're going to go around and do just 1 minute closing remark before we end the show. I want to say thank you to Mr. George Blucher right there in the comments. Vita Adams Unstoppable, Baseki. Now God now go to bless you. Now they go. Thank you, Eddie Justice. I see you. Etuk. I see you. Pansat HD. I see you too. Thank you all so much for doing this on my corner. Thank you, Mona Woman, and you Odokunwa Kibu. Thank you so much. Bella Naomi, I see you. Juna Baseki, Martina Obasi TV. Thank you so much. Amechi Kyobi, thank you so much. And also thank you today for the super chat. Biodu Latif, I see you. Thank you so much. Guy Wanlele, I see you. Always making me smile. God and go bless you. Thank you so much, Juno Baseki, Yes Corner, Just Bushel, Martina Obasi TV. Thank you so much, Bella Naomi. Yes Corner again. Pansat HD is also right there. Gerard Gerald Oba1, I see you too. Gatsman Onye Dot, I see you. Thank you all so much for doing this with me. I really appreciate every single one of you guys. Even if my body is filled with mouth, it can never be enough to say thank you. I'm so grateful. I'm really, really grateful for everything you guys are doing here. Samuel Olaka, I see you there. Pansat HD is there again. Thank you guys. Thanks to everybody. You guys, I'm sorry if I do not call your name. Just know that it's not intentional. Onyejua Chibuzo, I see you too. Thank you all so much for doing this with me again today. God now go to bless you, and they go forward ever and backward never. And I'm with for this platform. So God go to bless everybody as soon as they here. So to Niger, I see you. To Niger, thank you also for your submission today. Thank you. Let's just do it. I see you. Steelmaker, I see you right there. Thank you so much. Osayenwere, Monday or Morodion, thank you so much. Now God now go to bless all of you, and they go. God bless you all. Thank you so much for doing this again with us. Okay, guys, I'm just going to give everybody just 1 more minute because of how tense today was. James Morgan, Kelechi Samuel, I see you. Thank you. Thanks to everyone on the comment. Jan Feb, Mark DC. Thank you so much, guys, for doing this with me. Now, God will bless you. Now, Bebe Rodriguez. I hope I got that correctly, though. Thank you so much. Thanks to everybody. Now, I appreciate now, they appreciate you now. Now, God will continue to bless you now. Forward ever, backward never. Okay, guys, we're going to go. We're going to have a closing remark, guys. Closing remark, 1 minute. Stick to your 1 minute. 1 minute. Stick to your 1 minute. Thank you. Mr. Tunaija, you're up. Let's go. Your 1 minute.
I know it's me next. Don't worry about it, please. I think that let's not confuse things. Emeka is more correct than people think. The other side that is saying that we need to chop the constitution out and all the rest of it. They understand full well in the law about verbal contracts. If you can even have a verbal contract that is just based on words that are not even written, and then you have a legislator, which is our lawmakers, that pass and ratify the constitution and even amended the constitution. You've elected multiple presidents on the constitution, for crying out loud. And Peter Obi is about to be elected on that same constitution that you want to kick out. I don't understand how people pretend as if these things are not realities. Life is mostly based on precedents, on what has already been accepted by the people. Our currency, everything is based on the constitution. That some people just act as if it's a fraudulent document. Because your life is a fraudulent life. Because somebody wrote a document, the blood that flows through your veins is no longer the blood. I can understand what they are saying. Maybe they want a modification of the constitution, but Nigeria is not in that state right now. A doctor knows when not to operate on a weakened patient. A patient that is weak, if you want to start operating, what is going to happen? They're going to die on the operating table. Nigeria is in a weak state right now, and they want to use this division to break us apart and take over the continent again. And these people keep talking. My God, you people, do you guys see some African Americans that show up here? The people we sold as slaves. You see them show up here to watch the way people talk. You just keep navigating. The whole world is changing all around you. We keep navigating about document paper. And CM tells me about UK Constitution. UK Constitution is a document that's written in different documents. It was never codified into one constitution ever. They run the whole world.
Thank you.
I spoke only once, if I'm not mistaken. I hardly spoke, and I've been here for 440 something this in hours. They've all had a long time to go on and on about what they are saying, acting as if just because you're passionate about something doesn't make you correct. You might be correct that you want to ask for a change, but you are not correct in the fact that these things are not necessary at this moment, because there is a lot of precedent showing it already that these things are real. We have elected multiple presidents. How many African presidents, how many African countries have multiple elections that have gone smoothly and even switched parties with this same constitution?
Thank you, Mr. Tunaija. Next time, come early. If you know, say you won't speak 7 times. Yeah, thank you, Mr. CM. Please, you have the floor. You have just 1 minute. Thank you. Mr. CM, are you there, please? Okay, I guess Mr. CM is not ready for us. Let's move straight to Mr. Pansat. Mr. Pansat, please, you have just 1 minute. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I came a little late, but I was able to listen in all along. It was an interesting discussion, albeit derived from recalcitrant troublemakers on this panel. Mr. Two Niger, who I've admonished several times for sitting on the fence and trying to choose which way the wind is blowing, try to be a contrarian. Whatever the majority are talking about, he tries to take the opposite view. Now, if he's talking about historical perspective, in Africa, we had, for example, in South Africa, the apartheid constitution they had until, I believe, it was until 1996. Now, their historical constitution goes all the way back to 1906 or so, when the British gave them, by act of parliament, their own constitution, until they revised it a few times, and they came up, I think it was 1994, with Nelson Mandela. And they first went into an interim constitution until they made their own constitution that involved the entire people of South Africa, free people. And they did it the right way. And that's what we have to do here. Yeah, they went from other forms to a republic until they got it right and got rid of that evil apartheid in that country. So we have to go through the same rebirth, our country, but that shouldn't actually be what we're talking about. What do you mean if P2B is elected with a constitution, therefore we shouldn't complain? Do you think that P2B is a panacea? P2B is going to be the first in us doing things right. He's going to come and set the table. But that's not going to be all the agitations the Nigerian people are going to do. It's a progressive country that has to be done right. P2B is not a panacea, but it's the first step. Let me just conclude by saying that, Mr. Meka, on this platform, you'd say you come here to debate, but a few times that I've kind of tested you. The last time, last week, I asked you, who do you think that Nigeria needs right now to solve our problem? Is it a pragmatist or an ideologue? You chose an ideologue, but fortunately for you, I was on call, so I had to go. But we do need to have you compose yourself, come here and know that it's a lot of educated people on this platform, and those listening to us, those calling in. You don't want to be notorious. Maybe you're enjoying it. Yeah, even me, myself, sometimes it's curious, it's interesting to have somebody ignorant, seeking attention, trying to tune our moderator in front of us. We have beautiful moderators, but to come here offering our moderator money and trying to disgrace yourself, this is a serious thing that we're doing here, especially at this moment. After January, you could come here and do all the nonsense you want to do. But between now and January, this is serious business. So in that case, when you choose an ideologue, I really want to know why you chose that. So you're not going to be given an hour to speak or called upon 50 times, but every time you're called upon to speak, please explain that. Why do you want an ideologue to take the reins of Nigeria concerns today? So remember, it's limited. You're given ample time to talk, but you talk nonsense. All right?
Thank you, Mr.
You spend your
Fansad.
time talking nonsense. Thank you very much.
You. Patriotic Nigerian, you're up next, please. You have 1 minute to make your closing remark. I wonder why you guys are not making this a closing remark. Una they talk and I say, why you not making it a closing remark? Una just they take una time they talk. I beg closing remark now 1 minute. I beg.
I think there is a lot of passion in the room today. There's a lot of passion, and people are just trying to vent in some ways. And I think it also results from the level of condescension that I would say hypocritical condescension that happens, when people come and they make their points and accuse other people of the same very thing that you're guilty of. People have asked about, or have made the posited that some people are just being passionate and not being pragmatic about the issue of the constitution. But we've had someone like CM marshal out his points, giving references in a very logical academic way, and we've not seen like a very rational rebuttal of his points, and then people like CM are also accused of being passionate, so it's just a bit of a contradiction. Yeah. So, but to round up, I think as I think Pansat was the person that spoke before me, as he correctly said, Peter Obi is not the panacea. Most of us here support him, but it's just the first step towards getting it right. The Constitution, we know that that's an issue that has to be dealt with, and everybody agrees with that to an extent. Whether it's Peter Obi that's running on, on a promise to look at the Constitution, or even the current government, which 8 years ago or 7 years ago actually promised us that they will review the Constitution. So it means everybody knows that this thing, there is a problem with it to an extent. But having said that, let's keep taking these baby steps. Thank you for this platform, and we'll get there. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Patriotic Nigerian. Please, may I ask what your name is, please?
My name is Ede. I'm a Benin boy, so
okay.
Just try.
All right, Ede, thank you so much. I just want to get familiar with, people on the panel. That's all. Thank you very much for that. Mr. Judin, you're up next, but you have just 1 minute to make your final remark. Thank you.
Okay, my final remark is still that Nigerian Constitution is fraudulent, and the reason why it's still on is because we have not had a president or a leader who is not fraudulent, that will see the fraudulent constitution and then begin to scrap it and then convene a national constitutional conference for Nigerians to come together and decide whether or not we want to remain as a country, because the country called Nigeria has since expired in 2014. So we are hoping that when Obi comes, this will be one of the first most important thing that he has to address, for scrapping that constitution and then calling on Nigeria to come together and decide, are we going to continue to live together? Will this marriage continue to allow to stay where some members of that marriage has been abused and abused and abused time and time again and suffocated by some other party in that marriage? Do we continue to live like that where people are being killed every day? Then if we agree we are going to live together, then we will now say on what terms. It is the answer, the response or the answer to that question that will now bring about the initiation of writing a constitution on which we will all agree, the terms and conditions on which we will all agree to continue to exist as one nation. Otherwise, everybody goes away.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Judy. Mr. Murray, please have the floor for the next 1 minute to make a closing remark.
Please, I just want to beg everybody, please, let us not be divided. This is one factor they have been using against us, and they know how to use it well to their own advantage. If it's not religious, it's not tribal setting. If it's not tribal, ethnic, or political vision, we should not allow them to divide us this time around. It is very clear to everybody that this problem of Nigeria is a systemic one. Until we begin to address the foundational problems of Nigeria, what we are doing is just like looking for the best driver to drive the worst vehicle. It's not going to take us anywhere. And I beg Obi to be courageous enough, no matter who else is gone, to address the fundamental problem, which is the constitution, number one, and other issues which benefit the few at the detriment of the masses. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Mr. Murray. Mr. Son of God, you're up next, please. 1 minute. Thank you.
Thank you very much once again. I just wanted to apologize, Kachi, for my outburst the last time. Well, just to finish off, I know everybody has made their own points about the Constitution. I think the points are very clear. There's nothing like when somebody's making an argument. I know a lot of people have referenced CM a few times here. When you're making arguments and you're actually quoting people who are very vast in the field, No one knows anything. It's only a fool that thinks he has all the knowledge. Okay, nobody's perfect, and even Peter B says it all the time. Everybody's learning. Yeah, just like he said in America, he is also still learning. Okay, so everybody's learning. It is good to listen to people who are more knowledgeable than you, who and also listen to their own argument, and not to always think that you have that it always has to be your way. If something is not your way, then you're not happy. Okay, that's not how life is. Life is not about just an individual. You need to. Life is about give and take. Okay, that's what life is all about. I'll stop there for now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Son of God. And I want to believe your outburst was needed because of it was at the heat of the moment. Thank you very much for even stepping up for me. Thank you so much. Mr. Mika, you're up next. You have just 1 minute to make your final remark. Final remark, I say, please. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Kachi. Let me use this opportunity first to apologize to the forum and also to yourself. Why I was wound up was I've read the Constitution, and just now I've also skimmed that Constitution. It's we don't understand the kind of words. We could say there are certain areas of the Constitution that we might want to address, but to call the entire Constitution a fraud is like calling yourself a fraud. It's like calling your local government a fraud. It's like calling everything that identifies you a fraud. And we are patriots and ambassadors of Nigeria, regardless of where we stay. So that is why it gets me upset when I hear that word. I know certain sections on that constitution that I say, oh, I think we can do better. Because like every other thing in the world, nothing is perfect. We can't say, oh, we want to amend this. I've read it. I can tell you all what that constitution is about, sections by sections, and the schedules in the constitution. And I also want to applaud Mr. Tunanja. I know he's passionate. Probably he has read the constitution. And you're like, what are these people saying? And I implore every one of us, you might not like me, I don't care. But read that constitution. As a citizen of Nigeria, if you call yourself a patriot, read the highest law in the land. You might not like everything that it contains. Some were saying about Sharia, but those are states that want Sharia law. It doesn't apply to you, except you live in that state. But read the Constitution. Be knowledgeable about it. When people say things about it, you could say, okay, yeah, but the Constitution says this and says that. I think Mr. Andrew was also making reference to the point that even Peter Obi, is the same constitution that made him become an Anambra State governor. So I implore everyone to read the constitution, please. Don't like me, it's not my problem, but as a citizen and patriot of the country, go ahead and read the constitution. But don't call it a fraud when you have not. It will show that you don't know what you are saying. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Charles, please, you're up next. You came late. I'm just going to give you 2 minutes to make your closing remark. Mr. Charles, please. Okay, I guess Mr. Charles is not ready for us. I want to say thank you to everyone who has participated today. God bless you all. Mr. Juden.
Please, 30 seconds, please.
Okay, Mr. Juden.
Okay, now, the way Sharia, even if it doesn't apply to everybody, it applies to, it's affecting me in the sense that people will have their businesses in the north selling beer, and they will destroy their businesses in the north on the ground of Sharia law that they don't drink alcohol. But the same people will collect VAT from south and then use in developing their state. They don't drink beer, but they collect money sold from beer. And you are telling me
in other states
it's not an abnormal country?
Okay. Thank you. That's a valid point, Mr. Juden. I think Mr. CM is ready. Mr. CM, you were called on earlier or you were not available. So I'm going to give you your 1 minute to make your closing remark. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you, Kachi. I thank everybody that has spoken. I believe in the power of knowledge. We learn every day. I wasn't born with a dirty tongue, but nobody has a monopoly of a dirty tongue. I know a lot of words in the English dictionary, which if I say it here, some people may not be able to sleep. They may die in their sleep, but I came from a home, not a house. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. CM, for that closing remark. Thanks, guys. Thanks to everyone who has participated in our live stream today. God bless you all. I appreciate every single one of you. Now God will continue to bless you now. Una own go spoil. And when I say una own go spoil, I mean it. God will bless all of una they go as una they go. Thank you all so much. Please do not hesitate to join us tomorrow, same time, 5 p.m. Nigerian time, for our discussion just like this one, and 10 a.m. Nigerian time tomorrow for our newspaper headline reviews, guys. And do not forget to always like and share our broadcast. Liking and sharing simply means that you want our messages to keep going viral. Thank you all so much. God bless you. We have Mr. Alexander here. Mr. Alexander, you were here before, but you left. We're already rounding up the show. But just because you're here again, I'm going to give you just 1 minute to 1 minute, just 1 minute, please, Mr. Alexander.
No, I don't even have 1 minute to spare. Hello, how's everybody doing today? My name is Alexander Gomez. I usually stay on the background listening to what everybody's talking about. But I think people have been overtly unfair to Emeka. He has the right to air his opinion. I know he throws, like Pastor says, and I say in my profession, he throws a lot of temper tantrums. But in the main, he has valid points. People can come on the show with divergent views. That it don't make them a demon. I mean, how can people stoop so low in mentioning his mother's private part? I don't understand that. I hear too Naja come over here. He said it once or twice, and it's becoming rather personal. He starts referring to African Americans and people like slaves that were sold into slavery. What kind of bullshit is that? What is that? Slave, people sold. Does it make you proud that your forefathers sold your forefathers into slavery? I mean, this guy, we're Nigerians. Sometimes we need to watch the way we speak. I am in my 60s. I am in my mid 60s. I knew Nigeria when Nigeria was the greatest black country in the world. Our problem is not the Constitution. Our problem is the mindset, corruption, and getting the right people to lead the country. The most qualified people, the Soludos of this world. Those are the people we need in Nigeria. People with the right personality and disposition. Not people who go around wearing $1 million watches when the average citizen of the state can't even afford to eat a single meal a day. You know, my local government, I'm from Lagos. My local government is richer than Ghana. If you go to Ghana today, you'll be ashamed to be a Nigerian because the people are patriotic. What is this stuff? Why do we talk like this as Nigerians? It saddens me. It breaks my heart. You know, we don't have a problem with the Constitution. I mean, you might have problems with some snippets of it, but the problem is not the Constitution. It's leadership, corruption, and tribalism. So, Kachi, that's all I have to say. I don't have much to say. I am a patriotic Nigerian, like I told my sister Irene, I have been in positions where I was celebrated in London, England, for being a Nigerian. So I would always be a Nigerian, and I'm proud to be a Nigerian because that's the single greatest black country in the world. So y'all have a good evening, and bye-bye.
Thank you very much, sir.
With all due respect, I disagree with him 100%. What he just said about our people selling our own fellow people overseas, he's saying that we should cover it up. What kind of human beings? This is why we are where we are. All these people that call themselves elite, they are the ones that have silenced us and never let us to tell the truth. What we have done to our own people, what we are still doing to our own people, even in Nigeria today. Many people are complaining about being marginalized. Hausas are being marginalized. We are not able to come together. These are the kind of things we are not talking about. And people keep telling people to shut up. Don't talk about it. Let's pretend as if everything is okay. It's not going to be okay until we address all these topics. If anybody wants to discuss these things with me, let them come. Has this man ever spoken to an African American? Has he ever spoken to a Jamaican where they are crying that we forgot them there? What we have done to people? The sins of our forefathers, we know this story, how it comes back to haunt us. When we act as if this history never happened, we see people that are people that are hiding traumatic events.
Thank you, Mr.
We have to confront the truth. He is wrong.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Tunanja, I can understand what you're saying, but he spoke passionately too. That was a patriot also speaking, you understand? I can sense his viewpoint, and you know I think. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Thank you very much. At the end of
people like that, people don't understand what is happening. Do you know?
No,
Thank
to
you.
Niger, I agree with
African
you.
Americans
At
are
least on
coming to
this
the continent
observation. No, no, no.
to sabotage our continent because of what we did to them.
To Niger, you don't need to go further. I understand because what you stress is the power of dialogue. We must discuss all these things. So I agree with you. Dialogue can solve anything. You can't sweep things under the carpet. Otherwise, you are pushing the can down the road for the next generation. Some of the problems we are dealing with today, if our people, our parents has addressed it maybe 50, 40, 30 years ago, we couldn't be here properly. Thank you.
Okay.
I agree with you on that score.
Thank you very much, everyone. Because if we stay here, we'll not go come for here today. People they try to still join the panel. Thanks to everyone who has been here today. God bless every single one of you. I appreciate your passion. I appreciate everything that you guys do for Nigeria. Well, God will continue to bless you now. I don't know if our topic for tomorrow should be centered around this constitution, but I'm going to think about it and I'm going to discuss it with the Nigeria Watch team. Let's see if we can have tomorrow for this particular conversation so we can have an elaborate discussion on this. Thank you all so much. God bless you all. Until I come your way next time tomorrow. This is Kachi saying bye, ciao, and peace out. Have an amazing, amazing evening. Bye-bye. God bless you all. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. May our effort never be in vain. And may the Almighty continue to crown all of our effort with success. Have an amazing night rest. Bye-bye.
Yeah, take care, Kachi. Have a good one.
Anywhere you gonna P2B, Obi for president. All over Nigeria P2B, Obi for president. From east to south na P2B, Obi for president. Even the north and west na P2B, Obi for president. All over Nigeria na P2B, Obi for president. Mama, papa they shot P2B, Obi for president. Brothers and sisters they want P2B, Obi for president. Waiting be the name of P2B, call am again. Obi kererenke, Obi kererenke, Obi kererenke, Nigeria don't suffer, no we small. We don't suffer, no we other countries they grow, we just they fall. We don't suffer because we get my leaders, then where they on top. We don't suffer, they're not here because all their families they abroad. We don't suffer, but every 4 years them go on with one story. The same people, the same story. All they know is how to steal our money. Yeah. When we thought all love is gone, God gon' give us P2B. If you like, make you go ask. But we know the test story. Test and trust that if you doubt them, go verify. Obi get integrity, a man with credibility, vision and dignity. Obi are useful quality. That is why all Nigerians are obedient and useful. Anywhere you gonna P2B, Obi for president. Anywhere you gonna P2B, Obi for president. All over Nigeria P2B, Obi for president. From east to south na P2B, Obi for president. Even the north and west na P2B, Obi for president. All over Nigeria na P2B, Obi for president. Mama, papa they shot P2B, Obi for president. Brothers and sisters they want P2B, Obi for president. Waiting be the name of P2B, call am again. Obi kererenke, Obi kererenke, Obi kererenke.